Leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Gandhi, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
party.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits, yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. It warms up the algo and does us a real solid. We are live over on YouTube. We're live on Abstract, and both those are pinned up top, as well as the X spaces, the X audio spaces up there as well. The carousel, they made some changes to the Twitter X algorithm, so we'll make some tweaks next week. But long story short, the carousels, the beloved carousels, are effectively nerfed unless we are doing paid promoted posts or boosting those, which we will do to at least enough to get the algo's attention. But Machiavelli, you might need to take a lap. It's giving me some issues keeping you up here. But yeah, go smash the like, the repost on the carousel. It's all the way to the right. You didn't see it. I think I sent it to Steve after like 10 minutes. It was like 7 views. After an hour and 10 minutes, there's 54 views now. So unheard of on, I mean, I'm not the biggest account, but yes, Mel does have a bear. More bear pics in the chat, please. No apologies. It's snowing outside. That's the time of year it is. I was in Ohio over the weekend, got out just in time. I got not 1, but 2 texts this morning with snow on the ground. My mother said, sorry. She said, sorry you missed this, and then with a picture of the snow. So grateful to be out of the snow. Kind of a wild weekend. We got a busy day on the timeline, busy day in the world of crypto and Web3. We will have, I think Machiavelli's in now. He's going to join us here in a bit. And then we may or may not have a special guest at 9. They scheduled last week, then had something come up. They were ended up being up late last night, and I think they're running on like 2 hours of sleep. So TBD if they're make it back up in time for 9. But we will get into the U.S. stimmy. Actually, I don't think it's going to be a stimmy, but we'll talk about the $2,000 some form of a stimmy for American citizens that aren't high net worth individuals, or I don't know again what the details are around that, but I think we see some movement in the markets. We also had the big, as per the title, no soup for ICO Beast after publicly, a couple public. He basically sent a seven-figure tweet over the weekend. Sent $1 million tweet, not adding $1 million to the bottom line, but an rather expensive tweet. I shared more. I've once sent a 6-figure email that, they say, I don't know who said it. I don't know who they is, but they say, if you got an angry email or you're going to send a contentious email, type it up, draft it, go to sleep on it, wake up the next morning, reread your email, and then hit delete. And I now do that. I did. There was one time in my life I didn't. I was a young buck and just had just been stacking dubs and thought I could send a very candid, very direct, very blunt email. And long story short, cost me 6 figures. ICO Beast sent a tweet yesterday that literally, at least at pre-market trading levels, cost him $1 million. So we'll get into that here in a bit. But before we do, weekend was weekending. I had a fun sweat in the DFS. We got 7 minutes of cold open material left, and then we'll see if Machiavelli is able to. He's running the kiddos to school, so we'll see if he's able to get back up here. Had a nice showdown slate. Yesterday's morning game in Germany. There we go, Ultra. I appreciate more dogs in the snow. You know what? I'm not a fan of cold, not a fan of snow, but seeing the doggos in the snow, it makes me want to take Duke to. He's got to experience snow at some point in his life. You see him back there? He just likes hanging out in his crate here. He's not. I guess I have locked him up in it, but he's usually just a free roamer. Just likes the bed. But yeah, he's gonna have to experience snow at some point in his life. So we will. Actually, supposed to pick up a new car this week that could drive me up to the snowy the north. Could drive me up to the north and the White Walkers up there in the Midwest. I digress. In all seriousness, Sunday was fun. We are live over in Abstract, by the way. Shout out to Jambert, Pinstripe Gator, Thomas, Be Epic, Yard Legends over there. Sunday morning for most of the game, beautiful dogs. Most of the game, like into the fourth quarter, like I hit early. Actually, I called it in the war room. I one call the entire week, and on football wise, and I simply said it's going to be a Alex Pierce day. I know not everyone here plays football, but if you do, he's been having a year with the Daniel Jones resurgence in Indy, and he was leading the NFL in yards per reception. However, had not caught a touchdown yet. I said today's the day. Put him in your captain spot. I'm going to build a few lineups, hand build 5 or 6 lineups. He was in the captain in all but one of them. And long story short, he hit a touchdown early. I opened the app, and it's like currently winning $20,300. Shortly after, it became $2,300. So I was in first place with a unique in a showdown, which is just getting in a unique build, not having any other duplicate lineups. That in its own right is kind of a W. That I build that's the whole goal, is you want to build something unique that no one else is on. Because in a single game, it's likely like sometimes you'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of trains where you're basically just chopping everyone. Yeah, you get first, but you split first prize with 1,000 people. It's not that much money. Anyways, had a nice 20K plus sweat most of the game until, if you're watching, Jonathan Taylor, who I had in my lineup, all my lineups, but he was not my captain, broken the longest touchdown run of the year in the NFL, and quickly 23,000 goes to like $300. So still a profitable day, but a little less of a victory lap for just turning a profit as opposed to a 5-figure chipper. Anyways, good day in the DFS streets. On a more serious note, speaking of running, I don't know, running pure doesn't sound right, but very grateful. Many of you actually had a chance to meet my oldest daughter at NFT NYC a couple years ago. She's an artist. Sorry if I get emotional. Might need someone to help me on the stage in a minute if I do. She is an artist. On Friday, had her senior exhibit and displaying a bunch of art that she put a lot of time, was proud of, and afterwards out just celebrating, reminiscing, and she was in a tragic accident. She's fine. She's okay. She's going to be recovered just fine. But it was a fatal accident, and she was one of 11 people injured. 4 people lost their lives, and it's just again extremely grateful that she's here with us today. And one of those things, one of those calls you never ever want to get as a parent, and it puts everything in life in perspective. Markets are going to market. Numbers will go up. Numbers will go down. As we talk about, never any financial advice in the show can all go to zero. It can, and that's okay. Nothing here is even remotely close to as important as our loved ones, and our time here is short. It is limited. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. And so before we get into talking all things markets, hug your loved ones. If you have children, give them an extra long hug today. Your parents, if you're still fortunate to have your parents with you, give your mom a call today, give your dad a call today, and tell them you love them. There's 4 people who were at the same bar patio as my daughter was on Friday night, and their parents are never going to see them again. It's I don't know. I don't know what to say. I wanted to hit on it in cold open because I did get was overwhelmed with support from friends and family in this space. You're all family, and appreciate all the kind words, all the thoughts, the prayers, best wishes. And she was concussed. Fortunately, does not remember the accident, but has a broken cheek and beat up, bruised, and sore. But she's going to recover fully, and extremely, extremely grateful for that. But you just never know. They were out just sitting at a restaurant bar, and a car came flying into it was involved in a police chase, and the driver flew into the pedestrians and like I said, injured her and 10 others, and unfortunately took the lives of 4 individuals. So not to bring everyone down, I just this is a real show, cold open. We have to talk about what's going on in our lives, and nothing in my life was even remotely as close to as important as Haley this weekend. And just serves as a stark reminder that nothing we do here is serious. We're not serious people, and this is all adjacent and just additive to our real lives. And while the people of crypto, the people of Web3 are incredible, I was reminded of that again this weekend by just the outpouring of love and support, and people asking about, hey, appreciate the prayers, Osiris. And I can't imagine either. I can't imagine, like, even though I've had these feelings, I still can't even imagine the other parents who got the call from those 4 who weren't as fortunate. But it's just wild how small, like the ripple. Like, she was with 2 other friends. One had got up to go to the bathroom, and fortunately was not involved. Their other friend that was there got just in minor scrapes and bruises, but didn't saw everything. And that individual is now dealing with some pretty severe PTSD and trauma because of seeing my daughter or a close friend get tossed, and those other individuals lose their lives. Like, it's that happened literally in a blink. They're just out enjoying themselves, having a good night, and the next thing you know, some of those lives are changed forever. So just take that. We say touch grass. We take, this is nothing here is that serious. So while we say no financial advice, truly life advice is don't take any of this stuff serious here. It's not that important. And even in your worst day in crypto, you get liquidated, you blow up your entire port. It's far better than having to go through some of these the weekend that some of these other individuals had. Don, I saw you jump up on stage. GM sir, welcome. Oh, we lost Don. Never mind. Oh, coming back up maybe. I'm not sure what's going on with X this morning. Hopefully, I did see right before I started this space there was an X update. My X updated, so I don't know if anyone else is going through the X update. Sometimes Machiavelli, if you can hear me, sometimes that's the glitch is if you're on an older version of X, it won't let speakers come up if I'm, the host is on the new version of X. So maybe just double check your X version. And but Don, let's check again. Mic check. GM.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
It just completely just kicked me off and closed the whole X. It was weird. It's been doing that more often.
It was doing the same thing.
No, I mean I came up here. We're close to home. I have a good friend of mine that his son was also there, and I didn't realize until I came back from Miami, and I just came up here to just show support. And Ybor City needs some change, man. I've been saying that for years. It's they need to have barricades. There's way too many people, and if they're supposed to be cleaning that up, that's my first priority. So once they start chanting that, I'm gonna make sure to be down there and make sure that they start putting some barricades for the people that are always out there every weekend. And
respect.
And then also for the police chase, man, I felt like that should have been stopped way before they got there. But anyways, no here, no there. I just wanted to show support, man. And I know everybody here home is focused on what's going on down there, and it's important. So I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that, man.
Yeah, I had a frog in my throat there. Yeah, I'm not like if anyone is once if this is the first time you're hearing about it or curious more, if you just Google Ybor City or Tampa police chase, it was in national news. If you're not familiar, what Don Vibe was describing, Ybor is like it's adjacent to like downtown Tampa and a lot of nightlife and very much a pedestrian city, right? Walkable, everywhere's walkable, and yeah, I agree wholeheartedly that the police chase was unacceptable, in my opinion, that it went that far. The police did not chase them into Ybor, but they did basically seemingly off the off ramp and the person who was fleeing lost control as they came into the city and just went right into a bunch of people. And yeah, that's shame on the police, shame on the not having proper barriers and pools and pillars and things to prevent that sort of stuff. It's just tragic. I'm not, it's awful that it would take something like this to drive change, but just something you don't think about, right? You may think about like, oh, there's risk of getting in a car accident or getting hit by a drunk driver if you're on the road, but you're out enjoying a drink or food, and it's truly tragic. And yeah, not to bring everyone down, just would be disingenuous. I didn't talk about, obviously, very much so on my mind. And mostly just want to say thank you all who reached out. It means the world to me. And I will relay the kind words and the good thoughts to Haley. And yeah, that's it. Just hug your loved ones. That's all. Sorry for the non-optimistic start to the day, but it's just like I said, would be disingenuous if we didn't at least touch on it and say thank you for all the positive thoughts. Yeah, it is awful, but she's here. I'm extremely grateful, and yeah, that's about all I got in that. Machiavelli, let's get a quick mic check. Did you make it back up?
Yeah, man. I'm also sitting in the studio.
Oh, I got you. Yep. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so we got you in studio. You just want to leave. There you go. Leah, leave your spaces mic muted, and should be good to go. Again, thank you, Don. Appreciate it, and appreciate the support there in Ybor. There was a vigil over the weekend, and I saw already the community groundswell is very real in terms of driving some change there to better protect those pedestrians. That said, Machiavelli, what else is on your mind? I definitely got to talk MegaETH ICO. We got some other stuff. I don't know if you caught there. Our special guest at 9 had a late night last night. Got to sleep about 2 hours ago, so up in the air, 50-50, whether they're back up and joining us here in about 40 minutes. But what else caught your attention over the weekend?
Man, over the weekend, let's see. Well, this morning, like, listen, the whole address yesterday with Trump, and then them kind of putting the government shutdown to an end coming this week on the 15th. I just saw the market start to move again. You know what I mean? And I guess, when they freed up the liquidity, here we go. And we're up on the pump. Everything's green today. We're up above 105. The market's looking healthy again.
Oh wow! I missed the 105.
We tapped 106 last night, man. It was listen. If you were long in yesterday, you won. And there was a few individuals who had put in that trade. Even Simple Farmer had hit up the chat and said, "Hey, man, we're gonna long right here." And there was some W's across the board for several individuals. So, it's a big week this week. You know what I'm saying? Big week. Nexus is dropping. We have a special presentation for other games tonight. You know what I mean? That's a little on my mind with, I don't know if I can give up any of that information. Maybe we'll have Honeybee come up here in a little while or something, drop us a few hints or something. But there is some things popping off today.
I got a little insight. I actually got inside info. There's something happening. You're going to want to pay attention. I'm not going to break it. Holy moly! Like you were kidding. Market is pumping. Actually, let's do this. We don't have a market update schedule, but I was I'm just going to be real. My brain catching up on crypto this morning was all like 99% of it was the ICO Beast, MegaETH drama. Not even drama.
I didn't even catch that though. I didn't really catch that. I was trying to listen to Modern Market this morning, and then over here we also had a cold front, so it's like dipped low into the 50s and all this stuff. So like I got 10 things going on, but I kind of interested to hear about that here shortly.
Yeah, I will. I will. We will hit on that for sure. We'll probably move to that next. But before we do, let's at least fly over a quick market update because I saw things were moving. But keeping it real, it's moved much more aggressively to the positive than I thought. So what a better way to get back into optimistic, bullish vibes and good stuff than a market update. So we'll play this in and we'll get a quick update and we'll keep things rolling.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by 8 coin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8 chain, we bring in the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. 8 chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next. Come on, my head top, but you want the time and chop pump for one time.
Machiavelli was not kidding. We got a little pump overnight. My first thing to shock is last time I looked, like it wasn't long ago, Pudgies and Apes were like 5 point something. 7.13 floor now for Pudgies, 7.22 for Apes. We may have pullback. I'm going to say the bottom was in. I think the bottom actually was in. I remain insanely optimistic. Mutants back now up over an ETH. Izuki back up over an ETH. I don't know how hard and fast we go, but I think we might have touched bottom. And I still remain insanely optimistic through the end of the year into 2026. And I was not expecting to see these numbers this morning. So good across the board on the NFT front. You also see Little Pudgies 0.85, Doodles 0.77, Ladies 1.34, V1 Punks just under 2, Other Deeds 0.1. That very well could be a trade as we head into the Nexus. Moonbird Mythics 0.3. Let me click over here. I'll go to,
as the kids would say, we are so fucking back.
I think we might actually be back this time. Looking at tokens, Pump up 20% on the day, Trump up 13%, Pepe up 3%, Meme Core up 1%, Sheeb up 2%, Doge up 4%, even Runes up big on the day, Billy up 49% on the day. Looking at majors, XRP leading the way up 11% to 254, Bitcoin up 4% over 106, ETH up 4% to 3,600, Solana up 6% to 168, Doge up 4%, as mentioned, and Cardano up 5% to 59 cents. That's our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top, the home of not only NFTs, but the home of Other Side, soon to be the Nexus. And feeling pretty good. Like I said, I was not, I knew things were looking good, but was not fully expecting. It was the sevens. I've seen Apes and Pudgies back up over 7. Maybe cascading liquidations is done, and dare I say, up only from here.
I would hope so. I would hope so. You know what I'm saying? It's looking fresh right now. It's looking fresh. We do have a big week. Nexus is opening this week. You know what I'm saying? With the marketing right now, like we want that positive momentum and those positive vibes. You know what I'm saying? To spread on through. But I am interested in, you said you got some insider information, like you got something from behind the veil over here. And you know, what's cooking, Cap?
I'm gonna have to hold and see. I mean, if Honey's gonna, we've got like it's a 50-50. It's like a fork depending on which route we go at 9 o'clock.
Okay, all right.
Scheduled special guests may or may not be awake by then, and if not, then we will. Actually, either way, we'll get Honey into the conversation, but just depends on what route we take to get there. But Jesus, I saw you flew up this morning. You always have some hot takes and good thoughts on market. Are you is market things get you inspired you to come up this morning? What do we owe the pleasure, GM?
Yeah, GM guys. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the title space. Always try and hop in and support you guys.
Appreciate it.
And then I seen it was you and Mac up here. So, and I figured I'd come up and say Boximus at least 20 times. Get Mac going, you know. But
talking about
yeah, I mean, market's looking good, man. I mean, you know, I'd read that post from Raul Paul. I think it was last week or the week before, and it's kind of playing out like he had said in that post. I'd have to find it. I think I just unbookmarked it this morning.
You actually unbookmark things.
You
take me through this unbookmarking strategy, because I bookmark probably, I don't know, 10 to 20 posts a day. I bookmark my own posts to give them an algo boost. I bookmark other posts I like, but I never actually go and look at my bookmarks. I never unbookmark. So explain to me the logic for unbookmarking things.
I think it's because it's like I don't know. I'm like OCD, so I keep everything like organized. So like if I have something that's sitting in there for too long, and it's like and then I bookmark a lot of my own stuff too. But I'm like, well, I already got paid out for it. I'll go boosted, boom. Unbookmark it, or I just add it to my highlights. Highlights are so underused.
I'm gonna make I would bet any amount of money. I'd bet all my wallets on the fact that I have more unread messages than does Jesus.
Problem. Yeah, I usually go through every night and every morning.
Something tells me
even
Jesus
the scam messages.
Yeah, something tells me Jesus is an inbox 0 type individual. I'm like inbox 72,000.
I have, because I'll see people put screenshots from their phone on a post that they have like 85 notifications in the top of their on the top of their bar. So it's like, oh my god, that's so annoying.
Yeah, that's
or
400 and something.
Post up their TV. They're showing something on their TV and there's cables hanging. Oh my god, it shit drives me nuts. I want to go to their house and hide all their cables. But yeah, I mean that what he had said, I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Is it the one from November 4th or a different one? It says, I know no one wants to hear bullish ideas and everyone is scared, wants to fling poo at each other, but the road to Valhalla is getting very close. If global liquidity is the single most dominant macro factor, then we must focus on that.
That's the one.
Remember, the only game in town is rolling 10 trillion in debt. Everything else is a sideshow. This is the game of the next 12 months. Currently, the government shutdown has forced a sharp tightening of liquidity as the TGA builds up with nowhere to spend it. This is not offset by the ability to drain the reserve repo. It is drained, and QT drains it further. As this hitting markets, and in particular crypto, which is the most liquidity driven, TradFi asset managers have had one of the worst years of performance versus benchmark and are now having to chase markets that is allowing tech to be more stable than crypto. 401k flows help too. If this liquidity drain keeps going longer, stocks will get hit hard too. However, as soon as the government shutdown ends, this treasury begins spending 250 billion to 350 billion in a couple months. QT ends and the balance sheet technically expands. The dollar will likely begin to weaken as liquidity begins to flow. Tariff negotiations will have largely been completed, removing uncertainty. Ongoing bill issuance increases, adding more liquidity via bank balance sheets in money market funds in stablecoins. Ongoing rate cuts. We will have economic weakness from the shutdown that will add to the evidence that rates need to come lower, but no, there is no recession. SLR changes free up more of the bank's balance sheets, allowing for more credit expansion. The Clarity Act will get passed, giving the crypto regs so desperately needed for large-scale adoption by banks, asset managers, and business overall. The big beautiful deal then kicks in to goose the economy into midterms. The entire system is now being geared towards a strong economy, strong market for 2026 for these elections. China will continue to expand its balance sheet. Japan will work to strengthen the yen and fiscally stimulate. The ISM will rise as rates fall and tariff uncertainty drops away. You just need to get through the window of pain. Liquidity FUD lies ahead. As always, remember the don't F this up rolls and wait out our volatility. Drawdowns like this are commonplace in bull markets. It is their job to test your faith. BTFD if you can. TLDR, when this number goes up, all number goes up. And it's a chart of the global money or the GMI total liquidity index. Thoughts on this, Jesus?
Yeah, I mean, he's been calling for 200K Bitcoin in February for the last 6 months. And a lot of the things that he's been posting about have been playing out, usually within a few weeks after the fact. So, and not everybody's right. Everybody, in my opinion, like nobody knows what the fuck's going to happen. It's just a matter of using historical data and current data and coming up with the thesis in my mind. People knew what was going to happen. Everybody be millionaires. So I try and follow these smart, people that are smarter and more educated than I am. And, take my opinion with what they say and come up with my own thesis,
Yeah, no, I agree. Good take. And it seems I'm not nearly smart enough to have this take, but it aligns with my overall thesis. And I really do feel that this is like extremely hard to time tops, extremely hard to time bottoms. I just, directionally speaking, everything in my bones says this is where we're heading. I don't know. Maybe it just started. Maybe this was finally the bottom. Maybe we are up only for a while now. Maybe it runs to January. Maybe it runs all the way to midterm elections. I don't know how long it runs, but just there's so, fundamentally speaking, so much it seems in our, in our favor, whether you want to say it's, tailwinds or it's just like from regulatory stuff to global liquidity. It's hard for me to think what, other than just market stuff and volatility, hard for me to think why, and some unknown black swan, why would Bitcoin be trading less 6 months from now than it is today? And I really struggle to build a bear case. I don't know, like, what right now over the next 6 to 12 months, what is the bear case? And I don't have one.
When are midterms?
Yeah, neither do I, because we're going to have more clarity on regulation, and banks are going to start, the banks are going to start adding this, they're going to start adding Bitcoin and Ethereum and other, different types of crypto into their portfolio. And while I think it's JP Morgan, they hold 0 Bitcoin themselves, but they're encouraging their clients to buy Bitcoin. And I think once we get more clarity on that, you're going to start seeing JP Morgan and other big companies, I think, start buying massively. So we haven't seen crypto catch. It's like usually the S&P runs, it's like crypto's falling right behind it, and we haven't seen that yet. So I agree with you. I don't see how we go much lower.
Yeah, good time to be here. I think the question is then what, other than majors, like how are you positioning yourself? Are you just general question first, and then I might use that to segue into if you have a take or a thought on the MegaETH and not just the allocation, but do you think this move is bullish, bearish? But before we go to talk MegaETH, what else are you looking at to position yourself for?
Bro, for me, I mean, even though I just upgraded my handle to just @Jesus, which has been great. I took the hit. It was at NFT Jesus, but for me, it's like I am all in on NFTs. I believe in NFTs. I believe in the future of NFTs and what they can do for us. Yeah, other than that, man, trading some meme coins here and there when I do have some scratch to throw at them. And, short of that, just one of these guys still waiting for NFTs to have their day in the sun.
Yeah. I don't have quite the short-term conviction in NFT price action. I remain insanely bullish long-term. I love what they can solve. I love what they can introduce. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be to get more people interested in buying. When I say this too, specifically PFP NFTs, other than the group of people that are here. The one thing I think that could be a new catalyst, the next wave of people wanting to not only collect or buy NFTs, but also to use NFTs as a launchpad mechanism or a funding mechanism. I do think, and we'll get Poppy's take on this after we go back to Jesus, and this is setting us up for a good segue into MegaETH. I do think the ICO route, this token is a proxy for tokens. I think that very well could be a path to, like basically just how MegaETH has done their raise. They did an echo round, a friends and family round, if you will. Then they did a NFT sale that was essentially allocation, and then they followed that up with another, an actual ICO. Those fluffles, they've effectively 10x. We just showed the price of pudgies and apes. More than that. Now, will the value hold of that NFT once the allocation hits? No, it's also a soul-bound token, so you can't sell it anyways. My bigger point being is I think it is a mechanism, a process, and could see a route where new NFTs are brought back into that fundraising path. Thoughts on that, Jesus, and then we'll get Poppy's take on this.
Yeah, man, for me, there's so many bull cases for NFTs. I mean, from gaming, like I was heavy into PUBG. I've talked about this a lot. I'm waiting for Tencent or Players Unknown to bring all those skins and all those things on chain where we can sell those things. And there's many other games that fall into that way. I'm looking at, having the ability to bring we see some states that allow you to have your photo ID, on your mobile device through a secured network that they have, but it's still not as secure as blockchain technology. So to be able to have like your passport and your driver's license and things like that, and your insurance cards, and all of these are valid, provable things that you have ownership of, deeds to your house and properties. And there's so many different use cases for NFTs that for someone to tell me that NFTs are dead, I think you're being ridiculous when you say that.
I agree. I don't think they're dead. I just don't have I struggle to find a catalyst in the short term for price action, because I don't know what catalyst brings in net new buyers that aren't already people here. Like, that aren't just rotators. I think we could see people that are NFT collectors rotate. I just think for us to really have a full-on season, we're going to need net new buyers. And that's why I go back to this ICO token allocation type model. It's just very easy for outsiders to see the numbers, to see the math. It's like Top Shop brought a lot of people into the space because it was easy to see. Oh, you buy a $5 pack, it's so plus EV. Like, you could sell all the cards instantly for $50, and you might pull one that's $5,000. Just when there's easy math, it becomes like a no-brainer. Supply demand. I think it gets more eyeballs, gets more attention. Now, there's got to be substance. There's got to be something there beyond that. But I think we need almost. I'm not saying we need the guaranteed cooks, but so many people got burnt in the space, and then so many people got rinsed in the meme season. I think for it to really start seeing new entrants, we need almost like a you can't miss type season. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We need someone to figure out a model where, like, there are not only community driven perks, like Yuga's doing with building the clubhouse and doing these things. And if you're in Miami, there's things that are going to be there. Those are great, but we also need revenue models that not only support the teams, but we need revenue models that also give back to the community as well. And it encourages holding more of the NFTs. And we just haven't seen that yet. And brands are trying it. I mean, look at Azuki in Zagabond's latest announcement. You see, Luca is constantly just people are delivering massive partnerships and they don't have the same impact because there's not any monetary, besides IP recognition and growth, there's no monetary value coming back to the end user of or the holder of the NFTs. And then that brings us to the point of ICO and his airdrop farming comments. And, people are trying to find new ways to make money while holding onto their bags. And it's the first company that figures out a way to NFT brand that figures out a way to make this happen. Like even OSF, he gave all the rec holders, remember, he gave them all shares of like equity, I guess, in rec. But I don't think that's given them anything yet.
No.
So
Jesus, we saw recently with Amazon selling out Boximus. I'll say Boximus again just for Jesus. Normally that would have moved the market anywhere else. We literally just saw one of the biggest retailer in the world drop an NFT on their site and sell it out. And if that would have happened in 21, 22, Bored Ape Yacht Club probably would have raised 10 ETH. You know what I'm saying? The deeds probably would have went 5. Like it would have been a completely different story. And for this case, it didn't even move the needle right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
10 ETH, bro. Apes would have been. This was last cycle. Apes would have been
read more
ETH with an Amazon.
Straight up.
Like it would have been ridiculous.
I
and doodles thing, and like there's so you can just go on and on and on. There's so many different things, and
nothing's moving the needle for any of these projects.
I do not envy being a founder. I see Poppy has his hand raised. I do not envy his position because not only is he, bringing turkeys back fucking full steam, he's got a job. That's a tough task, man.
Yeah, he signed up for that.
Poppy, GM, congrats on the billionaire shout out over the weekend. What brought you up this morning?
Well, I know you needed. I know Steve's out, so I was like trying to get my son in the car, get him off to school, and join the fun. So I'm here by default. But yeah, look, this is my favorite type of conversation. When we talk about some of these other chains and other things, I'm not so intrigued. I think it's good. I learned from it, but this is my wheelhouse. But what I love, man, I'm not from an expert standpoint because I don't think anybody's an expert in the Web3 arena, not yet. But I'll say this. Look, like I think the reason why many years ago announcements used to push the market is because of expectations. Yuga came in and took their valuation of $4 billion, basically in VC terms overnight. And I think that people, money was flying around like crazy. So companies were getting big valuations, big raises, basically for just having a concept. Not even really delivering a product more than just the NFTs. And that at the time, I mean, really it's more of a concept than a product, right? Obviously they shipped, it was minted, but it was really not like a lot of these valuations weren't built on future revenues. They were built on the idea of building the next, Disney level IP or the number one club on the internet. These were all ideas. And from an investor standpoint, look, I came in guns blazing. I'm like, moving all my crypto to NFTs and, to ETH, and then buying NFTs and buying the super most rare Bored Apes that I could get my hands on, and punks, and eventually, pudgies and all that stuff, because the vibe was way different. The vibe was way higher. People were spending money and deploying money and really believing in that bigger vision. But it all comes down to expectation and reality. So I think that what NFTs have been going through are that expectation come back to earth that happens a lot post-hype in any market. But also I think that they're just coming back to reality. And then you pair that with the macro. You pair that with the market, and look, half the country loves our president. Well, maybe a little bit more than half. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are pessimistic. A lot of people are quick to jump on both sides of the political spectrum, quick to jump on anything that the other side has to say. And so you have a lot of economical news that just clashes constantly. And I still think that there's just a lot of churning going on in the financial markets. You know, interest rates, we talk about this a lot, but interest rates need to come down to free up real estate, to free up assets, to keep that the real flywheel, right? People were talking about an NFT flywheel that lasted 3 weeks. You know, the real flywheel is like real estate rolling back into like TradFi, then rolling into DeFi. Like money is trapped up right now. So when we think about going back to NFTs, I actually think that, you know, people are very concerned about floor prices, focus a lot on floor prices. And I do think floor price is important, but people want to actually feel like they're a part of something. And Cap, you know this because we helped rebuild this up. But, you know, Bored Ape Yacht Club for a long time, there was no group chats. There was no, everything was like little clusters of people. And you guys created Welcome Apes. I don't know if you remember, Cap, we did like, it ended up being like 5, what was it, Yuga Good Vibes chats. And we brought in like 700-800 members of the yacht club. And
I was in there.
To bring everybody back together. But for the most part, like, I think the camaraderie, the fellowship, that's the core of NFTs. IP, building a real business, all the other ideas, all the metas, that's great. But the reality is, I don't think a lot of NFT projects will ever go back to where they were, even in a, like, I know a lot of people are excited about an NFT bull run. And though I think there's always cycles and it only takes a few people to start another NFT cycle, I don't think it's realistic to think that a lot of these floor prices are going to go like giga wild, because there's so many people now suppressed holding their stuff that, you know, are going to want to sell when you get Bored Apes back to 12 to 15 ETH. You're going to have a lot of sellers. So I'm very bullish on NFTs. I always have been, I always will be, because I think that, look around. There's still, I know people say, oh, nobody's here. That's not true. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people here, and they're on all types of different chains and all types of different projects. So I hate when people say that, because I'm like, yeah, there's still probably tens of thousands of people interested in NFTs. That's not true. But I think that there's a ton of projects for them to choose from. And ultimately, people have just gotten more value from some of the projects that don't cost 10, 5, 8 ETH. And if you can get what you're looking for, you know, 0.1 or half an ETH or an ETH, you might second guess even trying to move into something more, right? So there's a lot of thought there. I'll throw it back to the stage.
You know, I think that people are finding worth within, you know, a $30 ape chain NFT. You know what I'm saying? And finding that use for IP. And we kind of had this conversation yesterday about like the collectors in the space and how things have shifted and stuff. Because, you know, we had Sergito, who's the CEO over at MeBits, saying like, hey, you're buying a product. Like, you can't expect anything when you're buying a product. This is what it is. But this is not really how this space came to be. A lot of us came here and we invested ourselves with these brands and aligned ourselves with these brands in order to build off of IP and set ourselves up in this industry, right? And so many of us have been successful in that, Mark. So like the collector base is quite different amongst here in NFTs. And I think you're right, Poppy. There is a lot of different individuals here, but and whether, no matter what chain they are and stuff, but you can find what you're looking for now, and it doesn't have to cost you $50,000. Doesn't have to cost you $10,000. It can cost you a few $100,000, and you still have the same kind of camaraderie and community and things like that. You know, so many different types of collectors here. And then there's those of us who want to align ourselves, who want partnerships, who want to expand, grow with the IP, proliferate the brands, do all the things. You know, so the market has changed quite a bit, but I still think it still regains that core sense of camaraderie and belonging and people who want to grow and expand, you know, some of these brands and IPs.
Yeah,
I agree.
I do agree. I also see we had Bandit fly up on stage, and I'm like, I've got one half of my brain already in the next conversation, the war room. I'm actually genuinely shocked. I don't know if Riggs or Steve is able to jump up on stage. I'm actually shocked that there's not, and they're not the only ones. I saw Easy. There's a lot of people that think MegaETH did wrong here, that think MegaETH is bearish MegaETH, or that ICO is going to sue MegaETH. And I read the T's and C's, and I'm actually genuinely shocked that people are coming to ICO's defense here. Like, he screwed up. Like, this is the definition of FAFO. He fucked around. He found out. I truly don't think MegaETH did anything wrong. Like, they were very descriptive in their terms and conditions. He very blatantly violated those terms and conditions publicly, and they nerfed his allocation. Like, they didn't say you had to sell. They said if you intend to sell or state your intentions to sell, you're in violation. In terms of, he did just that, and so they're just doing what they said. You know, you violated it. You bragged about, I'm going to do this, and maybe he didn't. I'm guessing he probably didn't read the full T's and C's. Obviously, if he knew he was going to get nerfed $1 million, he probably wouldn't have sent that post. But I do hope we get at least one individual on the stage that sees the other side of this, or at least someone that can strawman the other side. Because this is insanely bullish MegaETH for me. I've been a MegaETH bull. I've been very excited. I do have a fluffle. I did get in the last round, but my respect for the team just went up because of making this move, knowing that they probably knew it was going to come with some backlash, and they're doing right. They're doing right by the people who are doing things the right way. Like, it's not only T's and C's. He lives in the US. The reason people who live in the US had to lock for 12 months, because it's the law here. You're not supposed to, you're just not supposed to dump within the first 12 months. Like, it's regulations, not just MegaETH terms and conditions. And I think so. I guess the debate is he didn't declare intention. I don't know, Matt. That thread very clearly looks. He said he telegraphed what he was going to do. Said I was or I should do this. I guess maybe it's going to come down to interpretation by a judge. But if he had done what he said he was going to do, very clearly violates the terms and conditions. He said he was going to do it. He's also an influencer, a KOL, and could the team handle it differently? Sure, I guess, but he's very much so in the wrong here for many reasons, and not just T's and C's, but also I don't want to say ethics or morals, but like you can't on one token brag about getting $1 million you when many other people that wanted to get their allocation didn't get any or only got portions. And on the other end, say you can't wait to dump this or sell OTC. It's like this team has been very deliberate on alignment and wanting to reward their community. And it's like you can't. You fuck around, you're going to find out. Let's do this. We got a lot of hands. This inspired some conversation. I first invoked Bandit. Bandit, I don't see a hand, but you flew up before. Did you want to get in on the MegaETH conversation? Did you have something else you want to hit on before we go there?
Not in particular, but I heard it was a good conversation, so I said, "Fuck it, let's get on stage." I think it's a tricky situation. I woke up and I read that post. I was like, "Damn," because I see it's a friend of mine, but I don't know. There's like valid points both ways. I don't want to take either side, but I wasn't expecting it, but damn, that they really stood on business, so to speak, and put that announcement out.
Yeah, I mean, could they just nerfed him and not said anything? Maybe that was the way. I mean, that's what I'm saying is like, or what I'm seeing in those that think that he's got legal action here, or he's got a suit, is because of they didn't. Everything they said was truthful. Like I believe, but my interpretation is he very clearly stated his intentions, and the terms and conditions I have pulled up here on the screen now. Any MegaETH sale participant who locked their tokens for a year was required to, 1, acquire the tokens for their own account with any resale or transfer intentions, and 2, refrain from any transfer, resale, or hedging transaction that would violate applicable laws. I am under the impression while a lot of people may do this, a lot of people may hedge on something where they have locked tokens. I am under the impression that that is against U.S. regulations and laws. If you're in a pre-sale, you're supposed to hold those tokens for 12 months, and you're not supposed to do transactions that would hedge against that. That's my understanding. I'm not an attorney. That's what I was told. That's how I've got tokens in Mintify that are locked up. I'll have Fluffle token. I'm not hedging. I'm not supposed to. I'm KYC'd. I'm doing things above board. He very clearly stated his intentions. I'll pull up the MegaETH or the ICO post here in a second. Maybe it was just a shit post. I don't think it was, because there's a lot of follow-up comments and threads saying, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is what I should do. I don't know. That's where, and then from a team standpoint, could they have done it? Absolutely. Like he goes on to, Namek goes on to follow up, says the sale was 28x oversubscribed. It makes no sense to allocate tokens to someone who wants to sell them before they even receive them. It's better for MegaETH and for Mega holders. We allocate these tokens. People are bullish on MegaETH, at least willing to hold them through the lock period that they themselves requested. And again, closes it with unfollow. I don't think ICO is an evil person, and the reaction is overblown. Not a great streak of tweets, though, not going to lie. Let's go back to Cheeses for a response, and then Oxy, and then we'll get Bandit back in here.
Yeah, when you kind of go down the timeline of where all this started, it comes from a post on November 7th where he quote tweeted Serpin, the founder of Ethos, and it was about MegaETH, and the negative reviews versus positive reviews and whatnot. And ICO started shitting on airdrop farmers and basically called them the worst. He said the worst possible foundation for a community. And
he said
which was really surprising.
Airdrop farmers are the single worst possible foundation for a community, except for maybe gaming airdrop farmers. He goes on to say they're all mercenary gaslighters who will literally turn the barrel around on you the instant you suggest that they get less than they think they deserve, and they all think they deserve way more than they're worth because they conditioned them for 4 years to believe the spammy random transactions on testnet or playing the role of a GM scientist in Discord for a few months somehow produce economic value in the 4 to 5 figure range. Skin of the game or GTFO is the path forward. I agree with the take. But I also can differentiate. There's different types of airdrop farmers. Not all airdrop farmers are the same. And I think there's nuance to the take. I agree with the nuance portion of how I read this, but I also know it can be, you could interpret a different way. Go ahead, get back in here, Jesus, and we'll keep running.
Yeah. And it's like, my point is that this guy's made, a shit ton of money on farming Kaido, on farming different things, and farming airdrops, while most of his information is really good and provides value. There's also a lot of shit that he's, that he's shitting on people for the same thing that made him who he is today. So, and he's also an advisor on Zeet, which is another InfoFi airdrop farming. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a bad take. And then it leads into this with the MegaETH tweet that essentially cost him a lot of money. And I agree. Like we've seen the same thing with whether or not this is true with Kook and if Monad took away his money, but he did the same exact thing and posted about how he's going to only use Monad to fucking sell, to sell, bridge, and leave. That's it. And then the intern was like, good luck with that. And, so now there was rumors of him losing that allocation. So, I mean, they have the right to do what they're doing. And
the lion does not concern himself with the terms and conditions.
The lion does not.
The lion does not concern himself with the terms and conditions.
I guess I'm the only one holding my own
right now. That is a certified banger. I can't believe that. I don't know if that
That's a good post. Yeah, you should quote tweet.
I'm here for the drama, and I like ICO Beast, but man, I love drama in the morning, especially on like a Monday when it's usually boring. But like,
if you don't tweet,
I will say this: I don't love lawyers, but as a profession, so I love watching a lawyer get suplexed by other law. Like, just get like a lawyer getting suplexed by terms and condition is just like, that's like bacon and eggs in the morning for me.
I really need to choose my words wisely here because I don't want to be taken out of context. I like ICO Beast. I don't have anything against it.
No, I like him a lot, but I feel it, but it does give me a lot of energy. It is fun.
Are you not
Eggs and
entertained?
bacon.
Are you not entertained when the lawyer gets dunked on by legalese? Like, are you not?
Yeah, bro. That like, come on, like it's you know what I'm saying.
You need seriously.
I think all of us, if we had a time machine and can like pull up the terms and conditions and went back one day and showed them to him, he probably wouldn't have posted that, right?
Exactly. And this is where I don't think he's going to file action. I don't think there's going to be any lawsuit. I think he, took an L, and I think he realized that. As an attorney, I think he's going to go back, read the T's and C's, like, oh man, I screwed up. I think he's smart enough to realize that had he actually understood that it's not that he just wanted him to lock tokens, that this language was in the terms and conditions that you can't hedge, you can't sell OTC, you can't even state your intention to do so OTC. I think if he knew that and was fully aware of that, I don't think there's any chance.
Yeah, Captain, there's a silver lining here because all the impressions he's getting from being flamed will turn into an Elon payout anyway.
Yes, it will, but I don't think
$1 million.
Not $1 million payout.
Exactly. It's going to turn into an X payout. I don't think it's going to turn into a 7-figure payout.
But I also want to say, like, I'm pretty sure, I haven't read the terms and conditions in full, but I'm pretty sure even if you don't post, I think they like reserve the right to like take anyone's allocation.
That's with almost every single VC agreement, by the way. Like any company that is in a position to raise capital and is like the high demand in the market, they usually set the terms. And like it's the same deal of like getting a SAFT agreement or getting a general like YCOM safe. It's the company reserves all right to dilute you to whatever hell they decide to dilute you, and usually they don't to some degree out of good faith because you're only as well known or well respected as your last company and who you fucked over, right? So but this was a ratio that was This was in the tea leaves. Like God wanted this to happen. This is how we get the up only season. It's a normal sacrifice. One lawyer must be sacrificed for the greater good of our bags.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's like just,
but not Gabriel Shapiro, not him. But like ICO Beast.
I just want to say, like,
I appreciate I didn't have to be the sacrificial lawyer. But in all seriousness, I mean, you really, talking about going back and reading the terms and conditions and stuff. I mean, if you're a crypto lawyer, you don't need to read the terms and conditions on these things. They're always the same. I mean, these things are very standard. These lockups work a standard way. They're pretty much always very broadly drafted. So I don't really buy that. Especially someone who's a lawyer, I just didn't read the terms and conditions this time. They're always the same, right? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but Gabriel, even if he read them and it turns out that he has cause for like making a claim against them, he would never do it because in the court of public opinion, he's already lost. So like if he went and sued them, he would just lose any potential airdrop from any other company because like, okay, you lose MegaETH, but like at the end of the day, if you handle this with grace, which he will, because he is pretty good, like emotionally, like he's pretty cool headed. It'll just turn into something funny we talk about after a week, and then he's going to get another deal anyway.
No, this is bullet for him. I mean, look, everyone's talking about him. We're talking about him, so it's kind of good for him. I didn't even realize anyone was even talking about him maybe suing the project. That would be
no, they're not going to. I'm just saying that like
no, nobody's talking about that.
If he had legal recourse, because it's worth more to just take the L and laugh it off in public. And then get another airdrop and make the money back than to be blacklisted from any other airdrops.
I agree.
I'm sure he'll hedge Monad. You know what I'm saying? He'll be just fine. Like we shouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah, I agree with the take. I don't think even if there was in the takes I've heard on the he has legal case is that he didn't state his intentions and that the MegaETH team kind of drug him, like defamation or libel. Slander, libel in this case would be, I think, insanely hard to prove. I don't think he has a leg to stand on. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a judge. even if he did, to everyone's earlier point, it would cost him more in litigating and probably 10x that in the court of public opinion by getting blacklisted from all other future allocations. So I think all around it's probably after, today, tomorrow will be the end of it. But bigger picture, like I said, I respect MegaETH for staying on business here. Like, could they handle their communications around it differently? Maybe, but I think it's, I've got the post quote up here. You can see Kobe's, one-shotted ratio here. It says, pretty wild to call airdrop farmers low value, then publicly signal your intention to dump everything / buy puts before you've ever even received your tokens. What value has been provided here? It's funny how much CT complains about VCs dumping OTC or hedging locked tokens, but then instantly mimics the behavior the first chance they get. Oxy, I saw you jumped up. Always some big great takes on this stuff. What's your thoughts, GM, sir?
Yeah. GM. I feel for ICO. Like, I think he's a smart dude. I think he's a good guy. And quite honestly, I think his original take on airdrop farmers is as their relationship to community is right. And I think you said that. But besides all that, obviously the team didn't do anything wrong. I mean, they're following their terms and conditions. They're following the guidelines. That said, like, I think it's like a broader discussion around, like, is the idea of hedging your forced lockup tokens for a year because he's an American necessarily wrong? I understand, like, that's the standard terms and conditions for a lot of equity instruments. I think, like, the token side of things with token warrants being issued and things like that, there's a lot of nuance there that like, I don't think we have a good guideline set yet. I think, like, his choice to hedge in the fact that the idea of crypto is being able to do, like, own your money and do what you want with your money or with your allocations and so on and so forth. Like, I think there's an inherent idea there that I disagree with, that he shouldn't be able to do what he wants with his money. Obviously, he hasn't gotten his token yet. The TGEs hasn't happened yet. Like, maybe it would be a different situation where TGE happened, his tokens are locked up for a year, and then he hedges, and then, it's okay if he does it that way. I think there's just this weird nuance that, like, it feels contradictory to the ethos of crypto a little bit, that, like, he can't do what he wants.
It's not contradictory to the ethos of crypto, and I'll tell you why. Because there is no such thing as property rights without people abiding by their agreements, by their covenants, right? And so another big aspect of crypto is putting in place enforceable agreements that can't be breached. I mean, that is the point of a smart contract, right? And I mean, unfortunately, you can't put everything in a smart contract. So some things we still have to rely on the legal system or on other forms of social accountability. But if you agree to something, part of the crypto ethos is that you will keep your agreements. And he agreed to that. And that's why he had that quote unquote money or that property in the first place.
But you misunderstood my point. Like, I don't think that should be the inherent, like, terms and conditions of a crypto ICO.
But that's the choice of the person who's doing the sale, right?
Decentralization.
But that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm just saying I understand that's the way it's set up. I understand those are terms and conditions. That's not wrong. I understand that. Like, that's completely right. But I do think inherently, like, as an ecosystem, as an industry as a whole, like, on a go-forward basis, I don't entirely agree with the idea that
you think the market practice should be different, basically.
Right, exactly.
People shouldn't ask for that as part of the terms and conditions. Well, I mean, there's the legal side of it, which is that, they basically have to ask for that, right? Otherwise it wouldn't be a compliant sale. But I also think I don't know, it's fair, if you have something that people really, really want to buy and you're selling it at a price where they really, really want to buy it, I think it's fair to try to get them to hold for a while to get, effectively that's just part of the price that you pay, right? And I think people will want
what they
that.
agree to.
No, I think I know how to remedy this situation, to be honest. What I would do if I were MegaETH, I'd say you can get your allocation back, but it's going to be over the course of 6 months, and every day you have to say GM India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Philippines, and Vietnam.
Dude, that Elon check would be massive on that.
Can I just chime in? Sorry to interrupt the discussion. I just pinned to the top. Monad
announcing the Monad public sale, first ever token sale on Coinbase 4 minutes ago.
I heard that they KYC you, and if you're bald, you get first LO.
Oh shit! I'm gonna go do that. Yeah.
I just saw this as well. Was going to go there next, but you hit on it. Go ahead and what does this mean? Big picture. I thought this MegaETH, first of all the Coinbase acquisition of Echo. This is also why I think this is such a important and big topic. And while we may not be talking about, actually, I do think we may be talking about this ICO MegaETH nerfing for a while, because I do think that we very well could be heading into ICO season, and it could be on the back of Coinbase and Echo. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was my first thought too when I saw this, that like maybe like ICO meta is the thing that's going to be the thing now. So like a little bit of details. First ever on Coinbase, 2.5 bill valuation. You can bid up to 100K. So I think this is going to be a good sale if you can get in. Yeah, not sure what to make of it, but I wasn't expecting any sale.
What's the value? 2.5 bill?
2.5 bill, and they're selling 7.5% of the total token supply.
There's actually really good
It
terms.
feels very expensive. Feels very expensive to me, honestly.
I think it's fully unlocked too.
Hold on. Wait, why do you feel it's expensive? Why do you feel
fully unlocked?
Fully unlocked.
Yeah.
If it's fully unlocked, well, I don't know how they're doing that with American buyers. So are they just excluding American buyers then?
It says
no, they're included.
Finally joined. So I'm with you. I did not think it was legally possible to do that in the US without locking tokens.
Well, the legal term for US is you have to have it locked for 1 year. That's the typical legal.
Right. So
and you can't post about it.
I'm reading the actual article now. Issuer I don't they got to be locked up, no?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything, to be honest, but it does say including the US. So the US will be able to participate. Maybe it is locked for the US or something.
Well, just because the US can participate doesn't mean that they get the same exit terms as someone in like Morocco.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if it's like a 2.5 bill, val, and there's a year lockup. Maybe they get a little discount. MegaETH gave a 10% discount to people who are locking. I don't know. I just feel I think it's a bit expensive. When MegaETH just did $1 billion. And they're arguably probably neck and neck competitors. You
get locked 1 year, but the benefit is every time you yap about Monad, your Kaito score gets a bonus.
Gabriel, I'm curious. What are your thoughts? What's your thoughts? Do you think there's merit to us actually heading into this like an ICO season? Do you think we could
Well, there's definitely merit. So when I was at Delphi, we incubated Legion and Legion. And that was at the exact same time that Kobe was starting Echo. And in fact, I tried to make them into the same project because, I just thought, we're going to be doing identical things pretty much. And, the reason why I thought of it was because I was keeping up with Mika. And I thought, well, fuck, ICOs are going to be legal again, right? And so this was like 3 years ago now. And so I always thought, this ICO season was coming. Like Legion, I have some indirect ownership in Legion. I think Echo ended up kind of, it's Kobe, man. I mean, Kobe has the Midas touch. He's just on another level, so of course that kind of outperformed. But I definitely think ICO season is going to be a thing. What is interesting is that there are these smaller, sort of pre-seed, seed stage startups also going now, I think belatedly, because now we're you should have been doing that 3 years ago when we were doing it, but that are also purporting to do this. There's just a bunch of projects. There's one in Coinbase's cohort. I won't name them because I don't really want to give them shout outs, but there are a bunch that are, and some of them are under the internet capital markets ICM framing or whatever, that are kind of purporting to do this. I think it's going to be very hard for those earlier stage ones to really do it properly. Number one, there's the legal aspect. Number two, even if you do that right, which probably most of these won't, you kind of have to provide like white glove services as part of this, like Coinbase obviously will, like Legion does, to really make this work and really make it attractive to top tier projects. So there'll be a lot of ICOs, but most of them, just like during 2017 ICO season, people are going to lose a lot of money, right? And the ones where people make money will be the ones where there's more of an underwriting function, like Legion and Echo / now Coinbase provide, where I believe, they also are providing pricing discipline, around these things so that people hopefully make money from them. And that'll be key to, any of these things having longevity.
Yeah, I agree. Good take. Great to connect, by the way. Appreciate you joining us, big fan. And I do have this article they just pulled up on screen here. The one thing I've highlighted says we're putting users first. We created a sale design that rewards higher allocation priority to true supporters first. Users that sell their tokens shortly after they get listed, less than 30 days, may receive smaller allocations and subsequent sales. This is designed to prioritize access to a project's real users. And we kind of started seeing this with Mega, but I'll double down on, I do believe not only your social history and cloud and reputation and reach and motion, I think your on-chain, not just holdings, I think your on-chain history and how you move in following these token sales post TGE, I think it's going to have a bigger and bigger and bigger impact as we move forward. And why shouldn't it, right? Like, it's in the best interest of these. They're running businesses. Why would they not want participants who are more long-term aligned than those who are just looking for a quick flip, right?
Long the days of the
market structure, right? Because people will, number one, people are buying, so that means unlike airdrop farmers, they're less likely to dump instantly anyway because they're looking for the right price. And then number two, you have this now reputational game where it may affect the future. So like, hopefully this leads to more of a buying and holding culture for more types of tokens, right? And we can just improve market structure and lead to more of a hodl culture again.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's big net positive for the space at large. I hope we move into this ICO season. I hope this becomes the meta. And again, I know there's people on both sides and people feel bad for ICO. And I $1 million haircuts, I don't care how much, you're sitting on. That's a big haircut. I respect them standing on business. And I think that whether T's and C's or not, you want aligned long-term holders. You want to get us out of this trenches where people are holding for 67 seconds are the most profitable traders. Like, you want supporters, you want ambassadors, you want, people who are going to be cheerleaders for your brand, not just dumping a token as
Captain, did you see Orangey interviewing the long-term holder?
Yes.
And how long he had held for?
67 seconds or something?
No, it was 1 day. It was 1 day, and he was considered a long time frame.
That's crazy.
Trader.
Eddie, have you been contacted by ICO? Has he reached out to retain you for legal representation on this?
Not a lawyer, so no, definitely not. No, but he definitely got overflamed this past weekend. What he said was fair. It was completely fair. But
so fair on the airdrop farming take. Do you have a stance or a take on? I assume you're aware he got his MegaETH allocation nerfed for his. Wait,
he actually got nerfed for that?
Yeah, he got nerfed.
Eddie, you better.
Oh my
be
God,
careful
that's
about what you say.
crazy.
You're gonna get nerfed.
Catch up, Eddie.
At all, it's completely appropriate, and I would more be outraged if he didn't get nerfed. To be honest,
I mean, I get it. I'm not like mad about it. I'm just more so shocked that it happened.
Me too. I am pleasantly surprised, right? Because I angel into a lot of things, and one of the things that really pisses me off is I follow my agreements, and I've noticed everyone else is hedging, OTCing, blah blah blah. I went and complained to Eclipse actually a few weeks ago because there was we're all still locked up, even though the team sold under us, which is another issue. But I noticed a sale on Second Lane, and so I went into the investor chat and I was like, "Hey guys, are you going to do anything to enforce the lockup on this? The people are trying to sell Eclipse tokens on Second Lane," and they gave me a very hostile reaction, and they actually shut down the entire investor chat. So it's completely normal that project don't enforce this.
It wasn't just you. There was like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah. Exactly. And so it's completely normal that projects don't actually enforce these lockups. And so people have gotten very used to that, very comfortable with that. And so it's pleasantly surprising to see a project, that's actually doing it, which to me indicates that the MegaETH team intends to actually hold their tokens. Right, because I think a big part of the reason why most teams don't enforce this is they're using it as cover. They're selling as well, right? And they're using investor sales for cover for their sales. So it's always a big red flag when they don't enforce. And MegaETH has a green flag from the fact that they are.
I agree. I agree. I know it's not popular with all, but it's like, hey, here's our roles. The only thing I'm like, I do respect many other people on the other side. That's just they're more critiquing how they went about like publicly saying he wasn't getting his allocation. Whether they like, oh, they should have just reached out to him privately, should just nerfed his allocation. If ICO want to talk about it on the timeline, fine. Okay, maybe don't quote tweeting, but I actually think it's again a positive signal that MegaETH saying, hey, we mean this. We're looking for aligned participants. We want people that are going to do what they said they're going to do. And part of that is we're giving you more allocation because you agreed to lock up your tokens for 12 months. So yeah, I think it's I appreciate the move, respect that the team is making this move. And I also think it's like I'm reminded from a wise man once said, I'll butcher the quote, but something about moving in silence. Biggie's 10 crack commandments are right.
Real G's move in silence.
Right.
Like lasagna. Like lasagna.
A few other hands we haven't got to here. Simple Farmer, I saw you jump up. Thoughts on this MegaETH controversy this morning? GM, sir.
GM, guys. I don't believe that I'm tapped in enough to give you guys a fair opinion and assessment on the controversy, but I think you make a fair point, Captain, in terms of an ICO season coming through. Everything in crypto is based on speculative interest. My good friend Machiavelli told me that. And, this just adds a added dimension to that. So I think it should be interesting.
Yeah. Are you a fan of this? Let's say we do get an ICO season. Do you like this structure? Someone who's deep in DeFi, what are from your perspective, what's the pros and cons, and what could go wrong if we see this MegaETH, now Monad, and we see this is the way that companies or new chains go to market or go to raise funds? What's the downside of this? Poke some holes into this thought of raising this way.
Yeah, I think, with ICOs, with TGEs, there's a lot of issues, especially in crypto. Unfortunately, I'm of the opinion that 99% of the launches that we consider successful tokens are heavily market made. And, when we talk about market making, what we're essentially talking about is fake inflation of the chart, and then slowly selling that liquidity on retail, which is super unfortunate. And I don't think it lends to the credibility of our business. That's why the most successful cryptocurrencies have been the ones that are the longest lived. Talk about a Bitcoin and an Ethereum. I prefer all of these token sales to happen on chain. That's the point of crypto, is transparency within the buying and selling process, seeing who's getting in and out. And then so anything that abstracts away from that, I think, is a hint towards a fishy situation.
Well, so just to fill you in real quick, Farmer, ICO Beast had a huge allocation from MegaETH, but in the terms and conditions, it said that you cannot talk about hedging, selling, or doing anything. He's in the United States, he has to hold for 1 year, and he did just that on the timeline. And then they publicly revoked his allocation, nerfed his allocation on the timeline. And a lot of people were bullish because they nerfed it and saying, hey, this terms and condition, they're following through with it, while others are up in arms, but he's taking it on the chin quite literally and lightly. And he's just, he's a lawyer in the space. So we'll see how it moves forward from here.
By the way, I don't think people actually even give a fuck what happens to him. I think it's just because he makes so much money on everything else. People want to see him fail a little bit because they're sad about their own lives.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it, to be honest. But
I'm here for the chaos. I just like seeing drama. I just get entertained.
I mean, it's right that he was he was slashed, but I would say that a lot of the reason why people want that to happen is because of an interest in.
Dude, these people don't even know like how to read an agreement, dude. Half of listen, bro, I'm pretty sure he just hit like the CNN of Nigeria, and they were like, we have to figure out how to get rid of him.
Even Kobe, I felt like, was misplaced. It's like, yeah, he's saying that farming is wrong, objectively. That's very fair. That's like a very fair point for him to be making. But also, he himself is farming because it's a profitable thing to do.
Yeah, but so like, I like ICO Beast a lot, and I don't think this is not gonna like hurt his wealth. So like, what I will say is I actually think this is a necessary sacrifice for the greater good, because if you can have consequences for tweeting about how you're going to dump on a project, and then you lose that money, it then signals to other people is like, maybe I should be more careful about like dumping on other projects so openly and only just talking about making money. Maybe because even if they do, right? Even if they do that behind the scenes, it sets a very bad precedence in public because people are swayed by other people's opinions. And we've lost the art of thinking slightly mid to long term in this industry, right?
Just like 6 months. 6 months would be great, you know? Like
Right,
a 6 month time frame.
Right. We don't even have that anymore, right? Like we literally had a post over the weekend where like Orangey's like, I need to interview these long-term thinkers. And you pull up the chart, the guy held for 24 hours.
And you want to know is the underspoken part of that, by the way? The car he comped his winnings to was a used M4 competition. Like that is the classic trencher. I made it, mom. A used M4 competition.
Dude,
whoa. That's a nice start.
you can soup it up, but I'm not the biggest.
But that's the point. That's the point.
I'm not the biggest BMW guy myself. They break very easily. But what I will say is that if getting into ICO season and ICM season and the idea of actually trying to build things season requires the sacrifice of one lawyer, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
I think. Oh, sorry, Cap.
Go for it.
I just want to say
I'm willing to do like 5 lawyers technically, to be honest.
We've seen the slow progression of crypto go from substance to narratives and talk, and I think this happens. It probably happens in a lot of industries, but we are becoming more and more WWE and less UFC. Right? It's a lot of show, a lot of narrative, a lot of just talk about this big situation. I think at the end of the day, it's probably just another beat. And I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, like who was the other person who had their there was another person who had their allocation slashed as well.
No. I didn't hear anybody, just ICO Beast.
Yeah, no, Kook has been on the other side of this. He's been long beating the bullish MegaETH drum for a bit.
I'm thinking with a monad, but there was a monad. Yeah.
Kook had the intern reply saying good luck, and there was rumors that he had his monad taken from him. But
really?
No,
he'll say something.
That was like set up to me.
Yeah, I think that was just purely engagement. I don't think they nerfed him.
I think they should. I think they should just for the I'm not entertained enough.
Like
for the content. Jonah is full WWE mode on this.
Like
full blown.
There's a world where that back and forth with Monad indirectly influenced MegaETH's decision to do this. Like that the ship posting between the intern, Monad intern, and Kook could have played a small role in MegaETH's decision here to nerf ICO. I like it's not every day I agree with Jonah, but I just zoom out. First principles. I remove the individuals from it. I think it's a net positive at large. I think this could be a good thing for the space to at least, if people are going to do this stuff, if people are going to goalpost while simultaneously dumping on their following, which is effectively, again, remove the individuals from the situation. That's kind of what we're seeing here. Not exactly, but you see someone talking about a 7-figure allocation and bullish MegaETH, and I'm locking up for a year. And then this isn't the first time. This happens a lot, where at the same time, those VCs or those whales or those holders, they're doing OTC deals behind the scenes, or they're effectively dumping on their following while they're bull posting. I know this is different, but effectively it's the same thing. And I just think that
nobody likes agreeing with Jonah, but in the end, they always do. And wait till you hear about my opinion on NFTs.
I mean, they're up this morning, so you're here to
oh wow,
we've been hearing Jonah's opinion on NFTs for 3 years, but I actually agree with Jonah.
I've been right.
I've done better in Web3 gaming than Jonah has, though.
You've done better in Web3 gaming than me?
Belly is choosing the
all right, brother. If you say so, brother.
Max just came out of the Undertaker coffin to just like spoil Jonah's new belt. I love this.
I mean, we intended to talk a little bit of on-3 gaming with Honeybee and Machiavelli here this morning. Maybe we just turn it into a.
You don't want this. You don't want it.
Let's partner and create.
I promise.
I was joking. I was joking.
I promise you don't want to hear my opinions on Web3 gaming. I promise.
People are here to be entertained. I mean, we could go directly from
I don't think they'd be entertained. I think they'd be upset.
ICO versus MegaETH to Machiavelli and Honeybee versus Jonah. This is
But by the way, totally separate, just because I didn't want it to get lost in the shuffle. What Gabe said there about Legion, he did actually help build out at least part of the, like, they incubated, I don't know. Legion.
By the way, I like him a lot. Eddie, can you get him to Angel into our round?
Okay. Sure, man. But the thing with Legion is, like, I think it actually could work. He was right. Like, at the time, they did position it to compete with they positioned it to compete with Echo, and I think it actually still might. So then I think they have a token that's going to eventually come out. I would just say it's probably worth paying attention to Legion as, like, one of the 2 or 3 primary alternatives for ICOs.
So this is real alpha. I've got to pull it up now. I follow the account. I've not done anything with Legion. I don't know if I can create an account there, but I'm convinced. Like, it's on my list. I'm going to do a deeper dive today because I fully agree with what I said earlier. I do think we're entering an ICO era. I think this is ICO season 2. It's not just MegaETH and Monad, but the reality is the 2 most anticipated chain launches for, is it safe to say all of 2025?
Yes, sir.
And 2024, actually, if you count Monad.
Right?
Yeah.
Which was in March of 2023.
Both of them going this route. It's not going to be the last. Coinbase acquires Echo. Huge signal there. People are always going to look for beta. Not everyone's going to get approved to participate on Echo. Like, are they in the lead position? Sure. But yeah, if we do in fact get this full on ICO season,
we're absolutely going to get full on ICO season because there's a bunch of IPOs that have been delayed significantly thanks to the government shutdown and a number of other stuff. And they're all being positioned for Q1 to Q2 of 2026.
I don't like when I go to collect my X account to Legion, it gives me the big red untrusted developer warning. But yeah, I do think there's going to be more than one winner in this world, probably more than just Echo, and whether it's Legion, and I'm not even talking like airdrop farming. I'm just talking like pay attention to what's coming to market.
Do you want to hear my theory on this Echo thing?
Go for it.
This is my tinfoil hat, okay? So the hottest airdrop next year most likely is going to be the base airdrop because it's Coinbase, right? And if you look at BNB, it's like, imagine getting into BNB early. Of course, it won't hit BNB's height because it's not Chinese, right? But just, that's one of the few airdrops that can net real money. But the problem is they have the Coinbase stock, right? So what if theoretically you get an airdrop for holding Coinbase stock, but you need to go through an Echo platform to get it?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's probably not just in range. I think it's likely. I think whether it's exactly that, I do think because they have a stock, I think those shareholders will be some sort of priority access.
But then think about it like this: what if Echo could be a platform where you hold GameStop shares? Okay, verify here. And then because then what if the airdrop parameters aren't being like a yapper on Kaito, but the airdrop parameters are being like a healthy NASDAQ participant?
Bingo. There you go.
And then you're getting all the wealthy people into these, and then you get ICO season.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but man, Jonah and I are thinking.
Jonah's cooking.
I'm telling you, everyone comes around eventually. They all realize he was right all along.
So as Coinbase, how do you balance the investors that see you, like let's say Coinbase is like, oh, okay, all of our base fees are going to go back to buying the base token and pumping that. How do you combat the investors being like, yo, what the fuck? Like
you're gonna hate my next answer.
Also, the answer there is just the coin goes up, so Coinbase's net assets.
No, it's actually
that's not going to apply.
So I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think happens, and when it does, it's going to hurt the Ethereum price dramatically. The only way you could do it theoretically, again, I have no inside baseball on this. I'm just telling you what I could see happening is, well, right now, Ethereum is the network mechanism right? So you have to burn or you use ETH as the pair. But once you have your own protocol, then it's clearly different than a security, right? So if you have Base as the native paired token and what you burn and swap with, and it's not ETH, well, then you go, well, I thought Brian Armstrong said that they were super ETH aligned, right? And then you find out it's like, well, we are, but, and they have some like special mechanism where they are and they aren't at the same time. And then the Base token becomes the core protocol token.
Yeah, I mean you're changing where the settlement layer is completely. Like that's the opposite of an L2. Then you're just developing an L1 essentially. So
well, that's
like,
how you grow shareholder value.
But okay, so shareholder value and net assets. I understand you're saying, oh, okay, they hold, X billion dollars worth of Base tokens. They're buying it back with the proceeds from Base transactions or whatever. Quite honestly, investors don't give a shit about the asset value. They care about earnings per share. And if they see your revenue going up and then your earnings going down because you're buying back a token that, is speculating to go higher because you think that they're going to be settling on a Base like blockchain or something like that, that is just not going to fly for the next 50 years until all these, boomer investors are out of the market, out of Coinbase.
Well,
I think you're going to see Coinbase stock.
The boomers are going at 50. The boomers are not going at 50. They're going at 15. But what I sad for them. Rest in peace. But what I will say is it's not just about Base itself. It's about all the other companies on their platform using Base as that native system. That's what they're trying to acquire. I'm not saying it's going to work.
That's not what I'm saying though. I'm talking about publicly traded companies that have equity out there. How do you combat a publicly traded company that might, in theory, ICO with a token, like whether it's Rect goes public and they have equity, like they're combating like a token and an equity position combating each other on the public markets. How are you going to balance that? So like obviously outside of that, like you're talking about private companies ICOing like a MegaETH or a Monad or whatever. That's a different conversation than a publicly traded stock and the associated token like a Coinbase and then a Base token. That like I would love to see it work, but right now I don't think the traditional markets are evolved enough to understand the relationship between this is our publicly traded share and our stock, and this is our token that we're dumping a shitload of money into. We're buying it back with all of our revenues and our earnings and yada yada yada. And that relationship, it's just not going to sit right. They're going to be like, yo, dude, why the hell are you buying? Why are you dumping all of our earnings per share into this token when it should be going back to the shareholders? This is your fiduciary responsibility, yada, yada. I don't think it's evolved enough, and the investors are evolved enough to understand that concept right now. So I think short term is very bearish to have a token for Base, but
we're going to find out.
I understand your point. Yeah, I know 100%. I love to see it. I'm excited to see it.
Obviously, your main contention point though is just it's publicly traded companies that have a adjacent token, because it's not like we're getting the Coinbase token. It's the Base token, which is a subsidiary. And I look at like, are there other examples? I'm trying to think of an analog, and I'm drawing a blank.
Okay,
but
so let's say
a traded company that owns. Go ahead.
So no, sorry. You can finish.
I'm just trying to think of a not tokens, but are there other examples of you got a publicly traded company, they acquire, they have subsidiaries, and then one of those goes and also has they wouldn't go. I don't know. I'm trying to think through.
So it's like okay. Let's say it's Nvidia. So Nvidia has the share price. They're selling graphics cards on the side. Nvidia, the graphics card division owns. Let's just say they own XYZ company, but the value of that XYZ company never gets back to the shareholders of Nvidia for whatever reason. Let's say every graphics card sale, they send that revenue to this subsidiary that the holders of Nvidia never they don't see that value in the earnings because it's getting sent directly to this third-party subsidiary. There's a reason why there's arm length related parties and arm length transactions in business. But in this instance, it's like a separate entity that the revenue doesn't get rolled up into, like the Base token doesn't get rolled, the value doesn't get rolled up into the earnings per share. So that's probably not a good example. I don't know how to, Yeah, there isn't really a good example, probably because it's never happened before. And this is like, I just don't think that traditional markets are evolved enough to really understand it. But I think this goes beyond all. I mean, similarly to like even private companies that issue a token, I think there's an inherent issue there because the incentives are just not currently aligned. And I think no matter what you say this token is supposed to represent for people buying in, it's never equity. There's always equity behind these companies. So like whether or not like you're like, oh shit, I got into this, MegaETH presale, I own some MegaETH tokens. You don't own anything related to the underlying company, and the owners of that equity ultimately can do whatever the hell they want. I think there's unaligned incentives between tokens being issued and then the equity holders of these companies. And so when it's in the public market and it's blown up times 100 billion% because it's Coinbase and they have a base token, I think there's just it's going to be a really interesting fallout, and I'm excited to see it. Quite honestly, like I think it's going to be a really interesting part for the space. I hope it works out as a participant. I hope it works out that we can have this ICO meta, but I think there's going to be a lot of friction, which maybe is bullish. I don't know.
I mean, you bring up some really real issues, Von, in the chat. Whoever is talking, this is Oxy, by the way. These SEC issues with the model, like investment there will have to be in the best interest of shareholders where they have a fiduciary responsibility. Absolutely right. And then the follow-up question is like, why wouldn't the value of the token get rolled up? You build out a legal entity where the projects the token issuing entity while still rolling up to the holding company. So if it's generating fees and value,
I think everyone here is assuming that they don't have a legal team that is up to snuff to understand this and work out a creative solution. And I think I'm willing to be pleasantly surprised. Listen, you don't run a $70 billion public company and just do things for the sake of doing them. It doesn't work that way.
I'm shocked, quite frankly. I thought we'd see this happening after they acquired Echo. I'm shocked we're seeing it already. Just candidly, I was not expecting to see not just another sale, but Monad. Like they're moving pretty quickly. I agree with you. I don't think they're just doing this on a
I disagree because like when you acquire something, you don't announce it the next day. For all we know, they acquired it 6 to 8 months ago. You don't know when they actually made the purchase. Just because they publicly announced doesn't mean that's when it happened.
Well, maybe it's just the fact that it's Monad, and Monad has been building for 17 years. So it's like relative to the speed of Monad thus far, it's pretty quick. I wonder, like, is if we just like pause and think, like, is the simplest answer is that we really just need new regs around securities? Is that it? Are we just trying to put a different wrapper on a security at the end?
Yes, and it will happen, and that will be a lot of fun, and it requires a lot of sacrifices. I said we need a few more ICO beasts until we get the new world, and that's fine. That's good. This is what it takes to innovate. You break a couple eggs. That's how it goes.
Men used to sacrifice their firstborn child to the gods.
Now we sacrifice our firstborn lawyers.
Let's do this. We do have one other topic we want to get in. I appreciate everyone joining the conversation this morning. Really, it's really interesting. I'm not trying to be hyperbole. I know CT likes drama. I do, and I feel for ICO. Like it's a major haircut. Someone says it's not going to impact his wealth. It absolutely is.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel for him. He's doing just fine. I like him a lot, but like,
yeah, but the guy's not worth $100 million. Anything short.
If you feel for him, donate to your local soup kitchen.
I just think that this could be one of those things that reverberates throughout the space for a while. I think that on twofold. I think from teams will look at this and are going to remember this. I think individuals, especially whales or ICO participants, I think they're going to be very thoughtful over what they put out on the timeline. And I think like we can joke about a sacrifice or not. I think like real lessons come out of this for all parties. If you're here, like this is something like whether someone can afford $1 million haircut or not, add a zero, subtract a zero, add
it sounds like it's only a positive though, because if you take away the lessons learned, it's don't bite the hand that feeds you. That's like a common rule, right? Read your terms and conditions. That's a pretty obvious one that I think everyone should do.
Nobody ever does.
Long term, I think that's really healthy. Creating the concept of shame, like bringing back an age-old concept called shame, I think that's really healthy. Like, we haven't had the idea of shame for a long time.
No, AVAX did that really well, Jonah, during their meme season. I think you remember that.
I think, ICO Beast will end up being the hero at the end of the day, and he's going to come back and make even more money.
Yeah, go ahead, Mac. You were talking about AVAX did like an actual.
Yeah, AVAX did really good at the shaming situation. I think Jonah knows that a little bit.
I think
for the cell shaming.
Well, I appreciate the bringing back my torment and nightmare, but I can actually recite exactly why AVAX did it wrong and why their price is representative of that, if you'd like.
I don't know.
Also, just real quick, circling back, we don't have to litigate it, pun intended. But yeah, as a Coinbase is publicly traded, I didn't know the exact specifics, but there is a SEC regulation that they are required to announce major material acquisitions and events pretty much immediately after they occur. So yeah, this is about 100-year-old regulation. So yeah, I don't think they had the deal done for 6 months prior. They probably closed on it the week that they announced it. And now, was the team talking and strategizing for 6 months about what they might do if they acquire this? Yeah, sure. But I don't think they sat on the announcement for.
So instead of it already being signed, they had the contract already refined for several months, and then said to Monad, "Well, if this happens, okay." Yeah, well, I know that everyone here has followed the rules clearly. Well, everyone in capital markets follows the rules to a T.
I wonder if Monad had been thinking this route, or it was reactive, seeing the success that MegaETH just had, and their sale went 28x oversubscribed. I wonder if they reach out.
Zero shot that they, excuse me, that they just reacted within 3 weeks to 3-4 weeks to like they're bringing in something like $300 million, maybe. I don't know the exact number, but the other kind of like sad thing about it is the value that they're doing this effectively. It's a sale, but it's effectively a raise at is $2.5 billion. Their last raise, which was 2 years ago, was at $2 billion. This is like kind of a depressed up round.
That is. I didn't realize their last round was at $2 billion. Yeah. That's very
the $225 million that they raised was at $2 billion.
That's kind of wild. Yeah. So this is. I mean, it's not a down round, but it based on timing and where they were at pre
2 years in a tech startup to go up. Yeah, it's depressed, but it's up. It's depressed.
Interesting. And this is the sale starts November 17th. Am I right? Now they haven't announced it yet, but based on Polymarket and everything, are we thinking TGE is November 24th? Am I right on that?
I think they announced that.
They did announce.
I think they said it was the 24th.
Okay,
TGE was the 24th. Yeah.
Pre-sale 1 week before TGE. Man, really, really interesting. What's next? I saw Cheeses saying we'll go to Cheeses. And if anyone else has so we have MegaETH, we have Monad. What's the next big raise? What's the next big hype? Whether probably a chain, I'm guessing at this point, maybe a killer DApp. But these both have been hyped for a while. What's going to be the next big?
This is the problem, Captain. You're like, this isn't enough. What's next? This is the problem. This is the disease.
I'm very MegaETH bags. I'm looking at.
I know. I'm making. It's kind of the problem. Yeah.
The next thing will be Polymarket, Kalshi, and Kraken.
Yep, that's accurate. It will be Polymarket, Kalshi, and Kraken.
So
that is, yeah.
Polymarket has a token. Kalshi does not necessarily on chain. Do we?
Brother, they're going to have a token.
Yeah, no, they're 100% going to have a token.
So it most likely then goes this route. I would have to imagine, like if Kalshi launched a token, it probably launches on Echo with Coinbase. No.
I don't know, but like
maybe, probably.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
They probably want to do a sale. I mean, everyone at this point, the whole reason why they weren't doing sales prior is because they were afraid of having to give it all back, because that's what XRP had to do. XRP had to give it all back to all their institutional investors on their initial sale.
So real question for those of us who are here, we're paying attention. Like I get this is happening. I want to get in the next one. is there what opportunity exists for those of us here that want, like, this is kind of like, it's so funny, like we were talking about like the anti-farm.
It's silly, but it's like there's two things. One, I haven't looked into this, but one is fixing your Legion score, because there's like a score thing on Legion. That's one. Two, I mean, honestly, Ethos might actually be a play.
I agree.
And then three, it's like it's gonna suck, but get your social game up. There's no other real way to say, like, just get your social game up, because, and then the other four is like, just play around and be curious on chain and just mess around with new things that are interesting, because, you know, they'll, like MegaETH did, they looked. And I would expect that to be something that people continue to do. It's not just MegaETH, like almost every other major, like a lot of major, how do I say this? Like, for example, Optimism and Arbitrum, when they did their launches, they were like, what did you do on chain? Did you do X, Y, Z? They had like a whole milestone set that they were giving out tokens on their airdrop based off of random things that you may or may not have done on chain. So just like messing around on chain, your socials, Legion, your Legion, whatever, and then potentially, like, I might have to get into farming Ethos at this point, because that kind of makes sense. Like it's a pretty one-to-one thing.
I agree. I'm a fan of Serpent. I'm a fan of Ethos. I haven't farmed it because it just felt, I mean, for a while I was going to doing the daily tasks. Just felt very forced, very unnatural. My Ethos score is fine. I don't know if I have a single negative review, but I just haven't went like hard in the paint. But I agree. I think all this stuff is like, what can you do to position yourself to be able to participate or to get ahead of this meta, this next ICO phase? It's your social reputation, your social credibility. It's in your reach. It's also your on-chain holdings as well as activity. And like, you don't have to, I think what the other thing we've seen is it's not just the whales, right? You don't have to have $1 million on chain and you're putting 6 figures in it every stablecoin farm. It's be active, participate in multiple things and work to grow. Like I don't know, like we may be out of the era where you have the opportunity to like farm something and get in before these rounds, right? We may be at a point now, it truly a pre-sale where everyone's, first come, first serve, or everyone's at the same spot. But how you get allocated in those pre-sales, I do think we're going to see more and more of that depend on what your on-chain and social reputation looks like. I saw we had Anthony jump up, first time caller here. Anthony, welcome to Coffee with Captain. I see in the bio, head of program at Cointelegraph Accelerator. What's your take on this? Are we going to see an ICO season here, sir? GM.
Yeah, I'm actually working on an article right now about ICO season 2.0. Now, just to get to the point of the topic that you guys were just discussing, it's no different than everything has ever been since the dawn of time, really. You just have to make yourself useful and valuable. Whenever there's wealth creation, you want a piece of it, make yourself valuable in some way, shape, form, or just have a lot of capital, have some sort of strategic value, be involved in whatever it is that what you're looking to invest in or what you're looking to participate in is looking for. Just create value. It's pretty straightforward, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
or threaten to destroy value. Blackmail is also very
that's
very
what Coop does, actually. Coop is whole thing is,
and
well, you have to threaten to destroy it, but then actually have the ability.
Yeah,
to
CBP is the same way, dude. The blackmail is also very effective.
That guy is like, I don't whatever. But anyway,
he's smart, but man, he's an asshole.
Are we talking about threatening and those that wish to participate? Threatening is in like
threatening to fund it to the point where other people who are good people don't want to participate.
Yes, like
it's still value creation, though. Really, you're making sure that the biggest
100% that's value creation.
Yeah. So one part, Tyler D just posted this. It said on the Coinbase allocation thing, we created a sale design that rewards higher allocation priority to true supporters first. Users that sell tokens shortly after they get listed, less than 30 days, may receive smaller allocations in subsequent sales. This is designed to prioritize access to project's real users.
That's
hilarious.
Wait, well, sorry, who posted that again? Can you repeat that?
Tyler D did.
Yeah,
go ahead. You want to pin it?
Yeah, no, it's the same section I highlighted earlier. Was their users that sell their tokens shortly after they get listed, less than 30 days in parentheses, may receive smaller allocations in subsequent sales. This is designed to prioritize access to projects' real users. Not only do I think we're going to see more and more of this. This is why your on-chain history is so important. Not just your holdings, but if you're the trencher that their average hold time is 1 day, that Orange interviewed, these serious brands, these people are building real things. They don't want you in. They don't want you in your sale. You're not helping them.
Although I will say on this,
hold on, Eddie, I gotta intervene because Captain is right, because Coinbase put this out on their launch pad. They're punishing fucking paper hands. Like,
but like the problem there is, like, I'm sure that a couple people are gonna see this stuff and they're gonna be up, a substantial amount on their initial right. They'll be up like 50 to 100% on the tokens that they bought, and they'll be like, you know what, I could sell, or I could hold this, and maybe in the future they'll be like, thanks for holding. Meanwhile, like, your up 100% will turn into a negative a negative 80%, and you probably still won't get any, like, you won't get any benefit for having been a long-term holder. So I still don't think it's like a great idea to tell people, hey, you should just hold all your assets longer and be better on chain. Like, maybe that's a terrible idea,
But it's not asking for a lot. It just says within the first 30 days. Like, if you can't hold something for at least a month,
dude,
well, like,
yeah, but the problem is, like, the problem
Eddie
is
just got slashed.
yeah, but that's still a long time.
Sounds like the problem is the 30 days.
No, bad Eddie.
No. It depends on which
ICO, my guy ICO just got nerfed, man.
Eddie, I'm not letting you into
No. Like, I actually put in enough. I put in a small enough amount for the Mega ICO that I feel comfortable with the long term. And we'll call it like a 6-month range.
30 days is not a long time, bro.
Yeah,
No.
We'll call it a 6-month range. 30 days is a long time with airdrops, though. Like, I've had.
You're gonna sell in 6 months.
Huge problem.
No, because it's not even my choice. It is actually a long time. And you feel like the only thing that would save it is if in, like, let's say, like, how do I explain this? You basically, the thing has to work extremely well for it to have recovered. You can't, like, kind of work. It has to be a actually major success for you holding past, your liquid point, 6 to 8 months, and then you come in profit.
I think this is healthy.
So you're basically betting on unicorns. That's it.
But this is healthy.
I mean, that's all of the stock market. The entire stock market is held up by 7 companies.
30 days is a long time to hold if we're talking about an airdrop we farm from some protocol that has no PMF and no real users. I think we start looking at this from, like, real businesses. Like, 30 days isn't a long time to hold a stock. 30 days isn't a long time. Like, to your point, if this, whether it's Mega or Monad or any of these chains, if they're still relevant 5 years from now and they're in the same conversation as some of these majors, it's not a long time at all. But we've went from, I think, the low float, high FTV, like our mentality, we've gotten so warped here. So many of these valuations have come out so far overcooked. The only way for them to go is down. And I think we start shifting our mindset. Like, this isn't just, I'm going to get these tokens for doing nothing. Rather, I'm putting some skin in the game. I'm making an investment into this protocol. 12 months is normal. It's just that our mentality is meme coins, not stocks, not an investment in a real business. And I think that somewhere in between probably is healthy for the space at large. And my boldest take is, I think this last sentence you see here highlighted by Tyler, I think there's a world where it's not just them taking into consideration what you do with tokens. If we see a world where we see stock, the TradFi merging into this, I could see Coinbase also not just rewarding, like, let's say base token drops. I could see them absolutely giving more allocation to someone who's held the Coinbase stock from ICO till today. And I think rewarding those long-term without sell shaming, and not saying you have to hold or you have to lock this up for multiple years, but people who have showed that history, both on chain or in the Coinbase ecosystem, why not reward them if you're the business? Why not? If you're launching a token on Echo, why wouldn't you want Coinbase to identify those users and to help you align and reward, over allocate, give larger allocations to holders who have shown, not just said they're going to, but with their actual history, how they trade, how they invest. So it's a win-win. You want all these people. Anthony, I saw you come back off mute. Feel free to get back in here with the counter, and then we'll get Jed jumped up, and then we got to get Machiavelli and Honeybee in here before we wrap.
I'm in agreement. I was just going to kind of banter back and forth with Eddie and Jonah, but I think we found consolidation there anyway.
Good stuff. Great.
I'm happy to still banter. It's what I'm good at.
He's an excellent banter.
Jed, GM, sir, what brought you up this morning?
GM Cap. No, I think you're spot on with what you just said. You know, we've been warped here, and that's kind of just a thing that I just dump automatically. You know, and then I was just curious on why you're bullish on ethos, because in my opinion, all these reputation social files are all just farmed. Ethos started out looking good, but to me, it's just like every other one that's, you know, it's going to have no legitimacy into our actual social profiles.
I don't love it. I'm not a fan of Yelp, but I think it does directionally. It's accurate, and to me, why I'm bullish ethos is like they're first in class. Like they won the category, and I can't even think of who's there. Have others attempted to do similar things? Yes, but from my perspective, it's you've got ethos, massive gap. And then there's some others that have attempted to compete. Ethos has already found product market fit. They have the motion. They have a very active founder who's in every conversation on crypto Twitter. I think there's a world, and Ethos is already being incorporated into several of these other formulas or calculations when these teams determine their allocations. So it's like, I think Ethos has won the category. Could they lose it? Could they fumble? Sure. But I think they seemingly won. I'm not saying you need to go farm Ethos. I think you need to be aware of ethos. I think you need to be aware of your ethos score. And I think it would probably behoove you to have an account set up there, to have a handful of positive reviews, and at least be above, like, you don't want to be in the red. If you're in the red, the only way you're going to overcome that is if you can overcome it with serious on-chain activity or serious motion on the timeline. There's like a dozen accounts that can do that. Kook being one of them. But I think for the most part, it's not something you need to lose sleep over farming, but I think you should be aware of your ethos score and know that it's likely going to continue to be taken into consideration for future allocations.
Understood. And then just kind of the dumbed down version of the whole base thing. I mean, I understand what I think it was Uzi was saying about, you know, shareholders, but I mean, if base became like the next major and, you know, kind of overtook, you know, Ether as a settlement layer and really became like a top 3 to 5 token, wouldn't that just naturally push Coinbase like a motherfucker higher? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it could. I don't see that happening. I don't think Base is going to overtake ETH, the network. It's got its place. I think there's a place for some L2s where it makes sense. I don't see Base ever becoming a major per se, because maybe I'm wrong there on my read. I think it could be a very viable, good at what it does, and I don't know. I still think at the end of the day, ETH maintains its relevance for security and decentralization, and allows other L2s like Base to build on top of it. I do think that the math isn't great right now for ETH mainnet. The value accrual back to BaseNet is too favorable towards the L2s. I could see that changing at some point. I just don't know what that takes, and I don't have a big enough brain or understanding the Ethereum Foundation well enough to make a really educated take on that. But this whole token ICO meta, it's here. We're going to see more of it. I think what I'm really interested in seeing is how one of these publicly traded companies with existing shareholders, how can they incorporate a token into their ecosystem while still that token accruing value back to their shareholders. Oxy brought up a great point earlier. It's not a decision I'd want to be making. It's not a conversation. In fact, it gives me a headache even thinking about it. But I'm optimistic. I'm hopeful they find a way, because I think those of us, if this does become the next big route of startups pre-going public, pre-IPO, I think those of us that are here and paying attention now, we stand to benefit potentially significantly, fully well knowing that a lot of these are going to go to zero. They are going to be losers, especially if you're locking up for 12 months. There's a world where not only is your token valued less, it could be zero in 12 months. That all said, we've ran a little long today. Good conversation. Blame ICO. I think we do still have Honey on the stage here. We got Machiavelli behind the scenes. our guest that was scheduled for 9 wasn't able to make us at today. They had a late night last night, but we'll get them rescheduled. We do have another exciting guest next week scheduled, so we'll find a Monday slot for an Ape Chain architect. But we were able to backfill with another couple of Ape Chain architects. Machiavelli, tell us what you got going on today. Tell us what we should be paying attention to, and feel free to bring in Honeybee whenever you'd like.
Yo, man, we can start off with Honeybee right now. Honeybee, you want to kind of give him a little intro to what we might have going on today, my friend? I was hoping Simple Farmer was still here. That way we could really like leak some alpha, but the farmer seems to have simply gone away. Honey, how you doing?
He left, so now we can actually tell you guys. So, if you don't already know, Other Side is opening up the Nexus this Wednesday, but today we have a little special collab. We already did an event via Other Games, which is like a community-led kind of, events that we do every weekend and multiple times a week now. And we hand out a shit ton of prizes, an ape, NFTs, etc. each weekend, probably like 5K worth every week. And so I just show up to play on the Other Side. Really easy. Today, we have a collab with someone, and I'm not supposed to tell you until 11 a.m. when they do the announcement, but if you want a hint, just go to OpenSea. That's all I'm going to say. And you figure it out.
Oh, wow. So OpenSea is the hint. I'm connecting some dots here. I see upcoming
what?
mint
Yeah.
in a couple of hours.
Oh, really?
Arbonauts.
Arbonauts. What?
It's priced an ape. Again, just connecting some dots here. No one's told me any inside info, but I'm going to connect some dots and say these things may be related.
Let's just say they're the mint coming. It's free for everyone, and you'll have an avatar to load into the Other Side. And we'll be hosting games tonight
at
Players. 9 p.m. Eastern. See you on the Other Side.
All right. Free mint. Looks like noon Eastern today, 1 per wallet. If I'm reading, if I understand that correctly, live avatar in Other Side today, and
Fresh
on
off the go.
Arbonaut. I mean, am I?
I mean,
I can't listen. Or deny. Simple Farmer is not here.
Just looking at the logo and the name, I'm taking there's maybe also some Arbitrum tie in here as well. Is my guess based on the logo and the Arbonaut here.
We've partnered with Solana. We've partnered with BNB. You know what I'm saying? We've had several cross-chains collaborations and stuff like that. We are part of the orbital system. We are an L3 on Arbitrum. I don't know. You can put 2 and 2 together without me saying anything officially.
Yeah, it seems like that's programmed today. So, hey, maybe nothing comes out of this. Maybe Other Side ceases to exist in 2 years. Maybe it's a smash hit and it becomes it disrupts Roblox. And if that is the case, I think these early, whether it's a $69 Boximus or free mint from Arbitrum, it's free. It takes a little bit of time and support. So yeah, appreciate you all sharing. I'll be minting one of those today, 1 per wallet. So all you farmers or multi-walleters out there, do your thing. But I'll probably just be minting my single one and for a sign of support, and I'm curious to see what else comes from this. I do really I'm excited for Nexus. Let me ask you this. I'm going to pivot, kind of maybe a curveball for both of you. Let's go Machiavelli first, and then Honeybee. What are you expecting Nexus to be? I know it's the home of Codas, but what when your take, if you had to guess, how would you describe Nexus? What do you think is getting launched on the 12th?
I from my take, I think we're going to see the start of this living, breathing world. We're going to see the start to where the creators are going to have an impact. We're going to see a start to the different tools that they're going to release in world, and can I tell you exactly what that is yet? No, but I'm excited for the exploration. I'm excited for the mechanics that they're going to introduce. And, this is Web3 gaming. I mean, and to say that, quite frankly, is that I'm even joking, but it doesn't feel like Web3 You know what I mean? This feels like anything any other Web 2 video game company would release. And I think that that's where the magic is. I think that people are going to be entering this ecosystem. And, you know, I think we're about to be introduced to a whole new set of individuals as well that from not our ecosystem who are going to be participating and coming to check this thing out. And, you know, it's our job to be community and really welcome them in. And, you know, I'm looking at hopefully that this is going to be growth right now. This is going to be community building. This is going to be people coming in, exploring. Honeybee, are we allowed to tell them about what we got coming up? Started on Wednesday a little bit, like from as far as the other game standpoint goes. Nope. Okay, damn it.
What are we doing Wednesday? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know, man. Listen, but I think that it's the start to, you know, growing the community from people not around here, people who haven't been paying attention to our little bubble and so on and so forth. What about you, honey?
I mean, I think you kind of outlined it, right? It's the beginning. The best way I could describe it from my understanding from just like, you know, what they talk about from Figgy, the keynotes and, you know, seeing the DC videos is we're loading into the first area of where everything happens in the sense of like, this is going to be like the new home, the new loading place. Think of like Destiny. If you've ever played Destiny, the tower, you know, you load into the tower and or like if you played WoW, you go to, you know, Orgrimmar or something, like one of the central hubs that you're gonna go, you know, talk to people, hang out with people, form your guild, socialize, and before you go off to your quest and go off to your mission and like, you know, do whatever, jump into whatever fucking portal to get into whatever experience you're looking to. So I'm just excited to explore. Right now, it's like again, this is all alpha stage of game building, so a lot of the people that are there are just beta testers, right? That's why we host the games. That's why we get sponsored to pay them, because they're helping us out actually testing, right? Like we break the world constantly to help give them input and information to like keep improving and to be like, okay, maybe we should fix this, we should prioritize this because the community and the users that are socializing need better tooling for this, right? And that goes forward for everyone else to keep building on top of it to build their experiences. So I don't know, I'm just excited to fill it up with a bunch of people and have fun exploring.
Also, you know, most companies get to this point, Cap, and they go to ship a game, and that's all they're doing that day. It's almost like the end of an era for them. They go, they've built this thing, they ship it, they're releasing out to the public. This thing is just starting. They're shipping this and it's starting. It's evolving from here. We're going to have more experiences come online. You're going to have more tiles on launch.otherside.xyz. Bathroom Blitz is going to come into play. We're going to have Outbreak come into play. Other games, First World will soon be into play. You know what I'm saying? So like we have a build with Tropical Virtual coming very soon. So like there's so many wheels in motion that this isn't just like, oh, this is coming and then this is it. No, this is coming. This is evolving. This is living. This is breathing. And I couldn't be more excited to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Being first mover on any platform that's ever evolving and has tools for creators to evolve with it. You know what I mean? And like, listen, I don't know if y'all understand what just happened. Amazon put an avatar, an NFT on their site and sold it out. Like the game is literally changed in front of our eyes. Nobody can stop you from going to open up an Amazon store, becoming a professional seller, creating these kind of products and putting them out to the public. Nobody. Like I feel like they blew the door wide open in front of us, and people were just standing there watching the thing swing open back and forth, and nobody's trying to walk through it. And I'm telling you, right, Captain, I'm running through that door all the way through. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to build on Ape Chain with the other side, grow community, grow bases, and I want this thing to work out more than anybody, more than the builders themselves. You know what I'm saying? I see it gives me vision, and I think that right there is value in itself.
Yeah, exciting time to be here. I think for my opinion, the other side team hasn't got enough credit recently for all that they have shipped and all that they've done, not just the big partnerships, but everything that's happening over there. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's one of those things where we talk about being here, paying attention, like not saying anyone go sweep other deeds or go buy a coda but pay attention. If you're curious and you want to pay attention, but you don't want to go buy an asset, well, go mint an Arbonaught today for free and then play around. Then go get another side, log in at least, get some XP. You never know. Maybe there's some future allocation of some sort, some magical internet money airdrop that anyone who has minimum level of 100 XP or something on the other side, you all qualify. I'm not saying that's happening. I don't know of anything coming, but it's one of those things that if you're bullish NFTs, if you're bullish on-chain gaming, if you're bullish building on-chain, it doesn't matter if you like Yuga or not. They're doing some things that haven't been attempted to be done before. They're partnering with very large brands. They're moving forward. They're executing, and I think it's good to keep a pulse on, pay attention to, and we'll see how this thing gets spelled out. You got a front row seat. May as well pull up a chair. Doesn't cost you anything. Just pull up a chair, see what's going on, spend a little bit of time in there, and maybe you find something that resonates with you. Maybe you find something that's that excites you. The other thing that I got to give them credit for is how they're working with the community builders. It's exciting. This is part of what got me so excited about building in crypto and the community that is here. And it's not just users that you can sell things to; it's people you can build with, build alongside, and we're seeing that come to reality. So, shout out to both of you. Best of luck today. I will. Once you guys start getting into those evening hours, it gets a little more challenging for me, but I definitely got noon circled on my calendar. I'm going to be minting one of these Arbonauts, and we'll be paying attention to all things other side. We ran a little long today. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Appreciate everyone who joined the stage, added to the conversation in the chat. Appreciate everyone who jumped up on stage today. Good, a lot of new speakers, a lot of first timers, and greatly appreciate all those new connections. We'll go Honeybee and then Machiavelli. Honeybee, anything we didn't ask you or anything you were hoping to share today?
No, I think you covered everything. See you guys on the other side.
Take care, brother. Machiavelli, all you. What anything we didn't talk about, anything you want to hit on today?
No, man.
Any closing comments?
Great show. As always, I was thinking we were going to do the Zora thing today. I was wondering, when that's going to come. But as Steve would say, let's just let everybody unwind and head off into their day. You know what I'm saying? I miss Steve, by the way. I'll just say it publicly. You know what I'm saying? I miss the takes. I miss the back and forth. I feel like it was like watching my two dads argue. You know what I'm saying? My stepdad was coming to pick me up sometime, and my dad sit there, and then they get an argument whenever you guys are bantering back and forth. So, but no, man, great show today. Like I said, let's see how this week plans out, and I can't wait for tomorrow.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for thanks so much for joining us today. I got thrown off by another ICO list beast joke, but
you mind if I say it?
Back, but the timeline is timelining. I see on my same screen. I can't even. It's on my mobile, so I can't show it on the screen here. But Easy says ICO Beast needs to change his name to ICO list beast, and then Royd said, like on the same right below it, Royd says Uber has no cars, Airbnb has no hotels, ICO Beast has no ICO allocation. Like. No one saw it. You only got 4 likes, 67 impressions on it, but that's a good treat, Roids. I will. I don't even know who Roids is. We're not even following each other, but that somehow made its way into my timeline. And then right below that, Carbon says $1 million tweet. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure the $175 Twitter stimmy from the engagement will help cover the differences. In all seriousness, regardless of where you net out on this, real lesson here is what you put on the internet can stay on the internet forever. What you say can have consequences. Maybe we're not in quote unquote cancel culture anymore. It's just, you need to think before. I know people just tweet things, just tweet whatever. You can fire off whatever you want. I pride myself on being authentic and genuine and transparent on the show. There's things I don't speak on publicly because it's just not appropriate. I it's not that I'm going to not share something or be disingenuous, or I'm certainly not going to lie, but there's things that, whether it's because of private information or non-public information or not, there's just things like you don't have to say everything you think. And I think this is a good reminder that sometimes you shouldn't say everything you think. And oftentimes we get so hung up in engagement and reply guys, and it's just be a volume shooter. You still need to be thoughtful what we put on the timeline, and it can be very costly. It can cost you relationships. It can cost you airdrops. It can cost you 7-figure allocations. Like, everyone's numbers are different, but it's a good stark reminder that what you put on the internet can be impactful both for the upside and the downside. And think before you tweet. Think before you send that email. Sometimes the best is to put it in the draft folder, sleep on it, and then when you wake up, go look at your drafts and just delete it. I saw we got Simple Farmer back up on stage here. Guys had a couple questions for you. We already leaked the alpha. The Arbonaut minting at noon, heading its way to other side is what I'm saying. No one else said that, but that's what I'm connecting dots. Simple Farmer, what anything else we didn't share today, or anything else you wanted to share before we wind things down?
Yeah, I was just actually speaking to the team at Arbitrum One. We're super excited for that activation. You know, Arbitrum One is they don't do like plushies on the New York Stock Exchange. They actually go and do speeches at the New York Stock Exchange. AJ Warner goes and does speeches with like a Robin Hood. They go into into Washington D.C. and they actively work on bills that contribute to laws which are beneficial for crypto. So I would say Arbitrum One is an interesting team because it's like the least sexy but most substance. It's whatever the polar opposite of meme coins is that's like what Arb1 is doing. So I was super excited to get this done with them and have the Arbonaut coming through, essentially, a massive fun onboarding activation for the other side where Arbitrum One is doing their own NFT, their own avatar on Ape Chain, and it's 100% a free mint, open only for 3 days until the Nexus goes live, so that everybody who wants to has the opportunity to have a cool avatar going into Nexus launch day for free for the cost of gas on Ape Chain. So just looking forward to that.
Yeah, man, looking forward to it as well. Appreciate I was giving you and the team some flowers, and you're not getting enough credit for all that you are executing on and all the movement and big wins you do have, not just from collaborations, but actually shipping things and doing the thing. So excited for the 12th, excited for the Nexus. We'll be minting an Arbonaut today, and looking forward to continue to support and follow. Actually, semi-related, not directly, but Dort, I just saw in. By the way, Dort, how did you change your font on your username? That is fancy. Dort, our new Dort moving in Discord like he's some Gen Alpha with the fancy username font. But he asked,
I'm gonna get in that war room one day, Cap. I'm gonna get in that war room one day. I'm saying I hear so much about it on the timeline.
Yeah, I thought you were in there, and we just not one of the Discords you frequent. But yeah, we got to get you in there. But Dort does ask, anyone minting the Wall Chain Genesis NFT tomorrow? Not to put any of you on the spot, but I know obviously Ape Chain ran the ApeCoin raid over on
We're still running it right now, Cap. They're running it for the other side right now. 50,000 Ape is available for those of y'all who are tweeting and talking about Arbitrum, Amazon, Ape Chain, ApeCoin, Bored Ape Yacht Club, other side, all of those things.
Any thoughts on the NFT mint?
No, but I believe I'm going to qualify because I was an early quacker whenever Wall Chain went, and I hit top 50 on this last run. So I'm here to participate. I want to see what these quackers really do.
I too was an early quacker. I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know. I probably should mint the NFT. It's probably one of those I don't mint when I'm eligible and ends up being a cook. But I don't feel warm and fuzzy about it. I'm not sure like what. I'm guessing it's probably going to lead to token allocation when they eventually TGE. But I guess that's the play. Is like, do you think the TGE is going to be worth $280 or whatever it's minting for?
Oh wait, they're charging us for it.
Probably yes. Just considering the Cook of InfoFi, I think after Kaido, Wall Chain is pretty solid, pretty top tier. Their team is aggressive and they get solid names, solid token airdrops. Their algo is pretty good. Their UI is pretty good. But I do think that they're going to still improve with time. So I didn't mint either, just for full disclosure. But I think it's potentially interesting, like especially if you look at the floor of the Kaido Yappy.
The Yappy Barras
thing.
That's what it makes me think about.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting for sure. Cap, I did want to mention as well, I don't know if you saw the news about Clutch.
I did not know. What's up?
Yeah, so I announced over the weekend actually that Clutch is going to be launching perps, perpetual futures, with deposits and withdrawals available from any chain. We're also launching a binary options platform that's going to be like the first time you can lev trade without getting liquidated.
Leverage
Really?
trade without being liquidated. How does that work? Explain
What?
that to me.
It's to keep it under a minute or less. It's related to lev trading using options, and I'm just going to use the simplest form of options trading I possibly can. That is something that's in development. It's going to be launching in Q4 this year. So, and it also works the same way with Clutch, where when you open your lev trading position, your option, you get an NFT minted to your wallet. So it's a tradable option on chain, just like the parlays.
Very cool. Very interesting. Well, when we get ready to launch or closer or able to talk more about that, we definitely need to have you on for deeper dives. That's really intriguing. Got my wheels spinning. Circling back to the Yappy Bara, current floor price 0.75 on those. So if you equate that to USD, it's like $2,600. The wall chain one's minting for 415, so it's about a 6x. Currently, Yappy Bar is trading at a 6x over the wall chain mint price. And I guess that, like, to me, anecdotally, seems about right. So it's like, it's all going to come down to like what sort of math they do on the allocation. Like it seems about like a 6x spread. I think Kaido's probably to say it's 6x greater than wall chain in terms of volume and everything seems about right. To where then I think like, what is the upside if I minute 2.5 SOL? What do I see this going from 2.5 SOL to 18 SOL, 15 to 18 SOL? I don't. But I also don't think it goes much lower than this. So I'll probably mint one and write it out. But it's do your own research. Do not take any financial advice from this. I just wanted to bring it up in passing because I know it is minting in the first wave here in about 20 hours anyway. So something else to pay attention to certainly. And it's gonna be a fun week. There's a lot going on this week. Maybe it's just personal life. The 12th and then Wednesday is like jam packed for me in terms of, again, just personal stuff. But my youngest daughter, I got to go to take her to an orthopedic and get probably another x-ray, picking up a new car, and just have a lot going on. It's like everything fell on Wednesday for some reason. And I feel there's like 6 things to pay attention to here. So going to be one of those days, but looking forward to a fun week. Really appreciate the conversation this morning regarding ICOs and the beast of ICOs. Machiavelli, appreciate you. You're a legend. Appreciate the time and an open co-host today. Any closing thoughts before we let everyone get out of here?
Just, I want to say, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
He front run the Steve out, but we'll send you all off with that one. Thanks again for tuning in today. Appreciate y'all. If you haven't yet done so already, go smash that reminder on the carousel. Got nerfed this morning. I'll have to boost it later to play the Twitter rules. We're now up to a whopping 283 views, which is about 1/5 of the people that tuned into the show this morning. So carousels, rest in peace, but we'll bring them back via the promoted post. But all that being said, thank you all for tuning in today. And as Steve would say, as Machiavelli said, we hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.